Greetings, world, and welcome to Detroit Book City's virtual Juneteenth Virtual Book Fair 2020. We are so glad you guys have joined us today. We are here because we decided to do a virtual book fair. Usually we do book fairs in physical places, but because of COVID-19, we all know that we must all stay safe. So we decided that a virtual book fair will be the way to go to continue to promote African Americans around the world, to let you know what their books are, why they write their books, who their books are targeted to, and what you can get from their books. Today we have a special guest, our first guest. We're actually going to have 12 guest authors today. So our first guest is Teresa Baker. Teresa is the co-founder, CEO of Brown Boy Girl LLC, and co-founder of children's book Josie Bedazzled Shoes. She was born in Flint, Michigan, and she's a product of the Flint Community Schools. After graduating from high school, she went on to earn her Bachelor of Science degree in Political Science and a Master in Public Administration from Central Michigan University. She initially pursued a career in politics and later transitioned to a career in state lobbying for 7 years. Welcome to the platform, Teresa. Are you there?
Hi, thank you for having me.
I got a little freeze. That's okay.
I am. Can you?
Good to see you. Good to see you. Are you enjoying Juneteenth right now?
Good to be here. Thank you. Yes.
Yes, yes. It's in the air. The energy is all flowing around. It's, I feel like ancestors giving us strength and, giving us courage.
Yes.
I even put on my African stuff today to kind of really feel, the energy, this positive energy that's going on, among other things that are impacting us on a negative level. But we have to stand our higher selves. And the reason you're here today is because we want to let the world know about Black writers. I mean, there was a period in life in time, an era where African Americans weren't allowed to write, and this is a time so they're writing now, and they're writing by the gazillions. So tell us what you feel about Juneteenth real quick, and then we're going to get right into your book.
Okay, you said real quick, but I have so much about Juneteenth and what I'm feeling. But when I think of Juneteenth, I think about it as a day of reflection. I think about how our people were resilient and how where we were then, and the fact that they had to wait, because we know that 2.5 years prior to actual Juneteenth, Lincoln did free the slaves, right? But then it didn't actually happen to 2.5 years later. So think of how they had to wait. If you really wanted something, then you had to wait 2.5 years. But in that, we still have something to celebrate. And that's how I look at it now. We're looking at where we were. We're looking at where we need to be, how to restore our community and moving forward. And, now is the time to really come together and try to bring the country, move the country forward in the pursuit of racial justice during a time where we have a very tumultuous political landscape. And so, but given all of that, we still find ways to celebrate, and we're honoring, I believe, our ancestors by speaking out about Juneteenth, reading about it. It solidified for me that having a company such as mine, like Brown Boy, Brown Girl, is necessary. And it's necessary because we need to drive the narrative that brown boys and brown girls are qualified, they are talented, and they are gifted. And so, I think it's great now that we do have a lot of these companies that are now sending out messages that they are standing against the police brutality. And it's wonderful, but I hate to say it, I mean, they're late because now they are just now catching up to something that we've always known about our people.
Valid point. So yeah, you said, so brown boy, brown girl, how was that derived? Was it from this type of stigma, or where did
actually
this come from? Your idea, your creative.
Actually, I started Brown Boy, Brown Girl, and actually in 2015. And it really was during the wake of the Mike Browns and the Trayvon Martins. And actually, I was talking to my sister and I said, we need to have something that celebrates brown girls and brown boys. We've always had organizations or platforms that lifted up brown girls, but nothing really that included brown boys.
Interesting.
And so that was my goal, because now I also have a brown boy. And so I started Brown Boy, Brown Girl for my children, because I wanted to build a legacy for them.
That's wonderful.
And so their company published my children's books.
Right. Oh, that's just so wonderful. So you started in 2015. You have your
Yes.
organization. Is this a nonprofit organization? Is it
It is not a nonprofit. We are a LLC, but we are what you call like a social benefit type organization, because I saw a need, right? And that need was to engage parents and children in literature. And maybe one way of doing that is by publishing books that have characters of color in those books, so that it would engage. Because books are supposed to serve as mirrors and windows. And so that was, the reason why I started Brown Boy, Brown Girl, but also to, like I said, to change the narrative. We're doing this in books. We're doing this in, school supplies. We're doing this in events that we do as well. We've been amplifying Black voices since 2015.
Changing the narrative. I like that. Stories matter, right? Stories matter. For those.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
You got a platform. Go ahead.
Well, I wanted to say, because it's important too that we're not just educating our people, but everyone should be able to read and pick up books that have characters of color in them. And it shouldn't just be like this new phenomenon. When I was younger, I read books all the time that had white characters, but I never thought anything of it. So we should get to a point to where it's just a natural thing that you pick up a book and there's a character of color in it, but it should not be like this new phenomenon. White children, it doesn't matter, all ethnicities should be able to see themselves in the book that they're reading, or to see what the world is like around them. And that's what books, I believe, should do. And that's what we strive to do in the books that we publish.
That's just awesome. That's just wonderful. It's good to see that your company's around. So your offerings, you said you had offerings with your company. Tell us about the offerings. Are these offerings to the public? To school?
Oh, yeah.
So tell us about your offerings with the book. Let's see the book.
Okay. I've got a few different things. So Josie's Devil Shoes is our first book. In this book actually follows a little girl who's having trouble meeting friends at a new school. But her unique shoes that we see here is an icebreaker for her, is the icebreaker that she needs to kind of fit in. And so she actually is listening to her mother's encouraging words about change and really just asserting herself into circles that she may feel uncomfortable with, because to be yourself is something to love. And then that they would love being around Josie. And so any child, this is Lexile certified 650L. So it's geared for any child that has a reading level up to second to third grade. So kindergarten through second to third grade could read this book if that was their reading level. The other that we are coming out with are notebooks. I'll have these up on the site. Again, this is showcasing brown boys and girls on their covers that, hey, they read books. They're all about schooling. Again, the young, gifted, and talented is what we're trying to highlight. And then we have another upcoming book, and unfortunately, I don't have my prop with him on it, but it's called Look, Daddy, Look. And I'm very excited about that new book because it showcases a father and son on a journey, and he's asking his father different questions about what it is that they see, and his father explains to him what those things are that they see on their journey together.
That is wonderful. And when does that book publish?
So we are actually trying to get that out by September. Okay. I will have it up on the site for pre-order. I am very, very excited because the illustrator is the same illustrator who illustrated Parker Looks Up, which is a very popular children's book. So I am super, super duper excited about it. The cover is great. I will put that up today so that people can read more about Look Daddy Look, and they'll have the opportunity to sign up so that they can be on the mailing list. I've been putting it out in different Facebook groups, and I've had so many people say, when are you going to have it? Why can't it be ready now for Father's Day? And I wish that it could, but I will.
It's been great. Wow. That's okay.
Yeah.
We are so glad you're publishing. So what's the future plans? Let's talk about the future plans of what do you have in the store for Brown Boy?
Brown Girl. You know, so really just to continue to amplify the voices and young voices, because like I said, I started this for my kids, and you know, if other people, once they go on the site, they'll see some other books, but those books are actually written by children of color, as young as 6. And that's important too, because when we talk about empowerment, and when we look at Juneteenth and we're talking about the celebration of Black people and how in ways that we can progress, it's very important to nurture our children's gifts and talents now, because once we do that, you know, they will become tomorrow's leaders, whether it's in business, whether it's in community, whether it's in politics. And so, you know, those kids, we invest in their businesses by buying their books, and they get 60%. But that's our part in empowering children of color, by carrying their books also on our site. So we just want to continue to do that, continue to amplify their voices. And like you said, voices matter, stories matter. We know that proper representation is key. Yes. And we want to continue to do all of those things. And when we talked about offerings, one of the things that we do, that I've been doing, is going into the schools, talking to kids about utilizing their voices and how they don't have to wait. Now they can start to utilize their voice right now, and rather writing books or what have you. So we want to get to a point to where we're going to publish other children who are writing books. And again, come out with other toys that represent them, and have books with those dolls, brown boys, brown girls of different ethnicities, because that's what we're about, really bridging the cultural gap that we have. So, I mean, you know, I'm on the greater things, hopefully, you know, and for your platform, you know, I'm thankful for that, because it gives us an opportunity to talk about what it is that we're doing, and that our voices are necessary, and it's critical to insert now during this time, especially given the political leadership that we have.
Awesome. That is so awesome. Well, congratulations on your book, and your new book is coming along. Yes. Does anybody in the audience have any questions for Teresa before she departs? Anybody in the audience? We have a couple of guests. Okay, well, tell everyone how they can buy your book. Let's see this book again. We must show the book. That's so important.
Yeah, so we got Josie's Bedazzled Shoes.
Bedazzled Shoes. How much does it cost? What's the price on it?
So $10.95 is the cost. And the books can be purchased on our website, brownboybrownGirl.com. I do encourage people, if you're going to buy, to support authors if they have author websites, because we know that our books are available on Amazon, but Amazon takes such a huge cut that this is really, really supporting Black authors when you go through their site. So I would encourage people to come to brownboybrownGirl.com to purchase Josie's Bedazzled Shoes and our upcoming products.
Wonderful. And we will post that information as well later on our Facebook page and our website, so you guys will know where to get her book from. But we appreciate you. We are so glad that you're here and that you're around, and we were able to connect you with our viewership around the world.
Yes.
Stay in touch with us, and
I will.
Continue to watch the program today.
I will.
Okay, sounds
Thank
good.
You so much.
17th, okay?
Thank you. You too.
Okay. All right. So as you can see, we have a dynamic group of authors. That was the first book. I want to go, just keep going because it's 12:29. Let's introduce our next writer. Okay. Veronica Chapman. Veronica is an entrepreneur and author, having written and produced a motivational play for teens, Ancestor Inc., and self-published 3 books, The Event of Planet Matriarch, an innovative social commentary and children's book, I Know I Can, and King Khalid is Proud. She's a graduate of Spelman College. She has a BA in Spanish, and she also attended Babson College, and she has a master's in business administration. Veronica commits her gifts and ideals to improving the world. To fulfill her commitment, she founded Boxed Out Enterprises, where she designs creative solutions for social change. Ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome Veronica Chapman. Are you there, Veronica?
Hi.
How are you?
I'm doing wonderfully. Thank you. How are you doing?
Oh, I'm great. I love your background. Very nice.
Thank you. I got the idea the other day from, I forgot which author, but someone fabulous.
I'm so glad you did that to introduce people to your book. Now they can see it displayed behind you. By the way, guys, we know this is virtual, so this is a new shift for us. So we're getting used to being creative, with the internet process versus having our physical book fairs, which we're used to doing, and having our authors set up, anywhere between 60 and 80 authors displaying their table with all their goods, and like 500 to 2,000 people coming in to buy their books.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, we missed that platform, but we felt it was important to continue to promote Black authors. I think we can't let that slack. We can't, put it to halt because we had a pandemic.
We absolutely can't. We got to keep it moving.
We have to keep reading, right? If we don't read, the more that you know, the better you are.
That's absolutely true.
So we need to connect people to who you guys are. So we're proud to host this platform, to connect you guys to to readers who want to buy African-American books. So what is Juneteenth to you?
What is Juneteenth to me? I was thinking about it because when you all posed the question, and what I think is a lot of people may not know that initially when our ancestors were informed that they were now free, there was a suggestion that they stay and work as labor. And yeah, so what it means to me is like, we always have to have the courage and faith to leave situations that are familiar and detrimental to us, and have the courage and faith that our ancestors and creator will provide the way and the opportunity, regardless of the fear, regardless of the facts being that we don't have everything we need. But I think, I really believe in, like, if we take one step, our ancestors and our creator will help us.
I agree. I totally agree. I'm on the same pathway as you. I'm following the road less traveled too with my mental stability. So I totally agree.
Yeah, because imagine, like, obviously it was a terrible, position to be in, obviously being enslaved by, exactly, but to not have anything and then be told you can either stay and continue or go, and people having the courage and the faith to just get up and leave, that is something we should all admire, and that's something that we can all apply today.
Yes, yeah, so that's Juneteenth. I'm glad to hear your feedback. It's just interesting to get people's feedback. It's different perceptions to everything.
Definitely.
Oh, your book is called King Khalid is Proud. I Know I Can.
So thank you. So I'm an entrepreneur, and I have a company called Box Out Enterprises, and I design creative solutions for social change. And 2, or now I guess 4 of those solutions are in the form of children's books. So my first book is called I Know I Can, and it's about a little girl who has vivid dreams of traveling the world and meeting historical figures. And at the end of the book, we find out that she is the high school valedictorian, and the entire book is her graduation speech. My most recent book is called King Khalid is Proud, and it's about 2 things. It's about the power of the word proud. 1, how it feels when someone tells you they're proud of you, and 2, how it feels when you make yourself proud, when you do something that makes you proud of yourself. And both of those are powerful, and I would argue that when you make yourself proud, it's even more powerful than someone affirming you by saying they're proud of you. And then I also have I Know I Can in Spanish called Yo Sé Que Puedo. And it's also, I didn't have a room, it's also in Brazilian Portuguese. And just this week, I released a workbook that is meant to empower Black children. It has coloring activities and different like historical facts, and that's called the Empower Pack. And that just was released this week as a digital download.
Empower Pack. And that's the picture over there, right?
Yes.
So what does that package consist of again? Is it a book? I mean,
so it's a workbook, and it has, you know, different activities. Like one is count the Black invention. So it's accounting, but there's also information about these things, what they're counting is Black inventions, and the information about who created it and what. There's other things about like your own business, and it's forcing our children to really consider what it would be like to start their own business and what ideas they have, and, you know, to get them brainstorming the idea that they can create something. There's also like coloring activities, and there's something I call it like Trace the Truth, where we find like great quotes from dynamic people, and they have to trace them so that these messages of self-empowerment and self-love can be internalized into our children. And there's so many, it's 30 pages. So there are a lot of different, my other favorite one is called Pedestals to the People. And it's about the concept that all these terrible historical people have had, you know, pedestals, and they've been like, they've enslaved, you know, Black people, they've done all these terrible things, but they've had pedestals, be they a Confederate soldier or whatever. And all these pedestals are coming down. So we ask the children, who do you think deserves to be celebrated? Now that there's space, now that these people have been removed, who would you create a statue and put on a pedestal? And so there's different like critical thinking activities, and it's a lot of fun.
wow, that's amazing.
Thank you.
You put a lot of thought into that Empower Pack.
I did, because you know what it is? I write for, like, I'm really intentional about why I write. I write because, one, I went to a historically Black college. I went to Spelman College. And if anyone's gone on a historically Black college campus, you know how affirming it is and how much love and how much expectation for greatness there is. And everyone won't have the opportunity to go. So I write my books, and anything that I create for children is in the vein of like, how can I make sure that all Black children get this affirmation and love at an early age? Because one thing I will not tolerate is, one thing to grow up in a hostile society where people don't value you and they dehumanize you, but it's another thing if you believe it. So I just want to make sure that Black children, anyone who comes in contact with something that I've created or with myself in general, I want them to leave affirmed and really loving who they are, because it's really specific. I want to live in a world where people feel empowered to do what they're called to do, and they feel like they can do it, they're intelligent. And a lot of our kids, because of the environments they're growing up in, they're not affirmed, and a lot of times in school, I mean, maybe at home or in like some kind of a, like, I don't know, religious venue, but not as often in school. So I just want to make sure our children are getting the affirmation so that they can bring their best to the world, because we need them.
That's wonderful.
Thank you.
2 words for you. Every time you speak, that's just wonderful.
Thank you.
What age group is that Empower Pack for?
Sure, the Empower Pack is for age 5 through 10. So like it's broken up in 2 parts. It's like the first.
Oh gosh, I take her off.
Oops, did we move?
We had a glitch.
That's okay.
So please be patient, under construction.
It's totally fine.
Disclaimer.
No problem. The age grade range is broken up in 2 sections: K through 2nd grade and 3rd grade through 5th grade. And my books, so this, I mean, you can see the picture there, so you don't really need me to show them, but I Know I Can is, that's for up to age 8, but because it's about a high school valedictorian, and it's really affirming and a really inspiring book. So a lot of people give it as graduation gifts. So someone read on Amazon, like, I used to give Oh, the Places You Go by Dr. Seuss, and now I give I Know I Can. And then King Khalid has, it's like an older age range from, I would say, up to age 10. And it's a longer book. They're both empowering and inspiring. King Khalid is about a little boy who loves to play video games, and his father, catches him staying up past his bedtime. And he's kind of like, if he tells him, if you wanted to stay up to create something, maybe I give you more time, but you're not just going to be able to stay up to consume. So then as kids do, they find a way around it. So King Khalid joins a coding club at school, and he learns how to design his own game. And then he creates his own game, and then he negotiates a later bedtime to play his game.
Millennial kids, or what they call now, Generation Y. Or
Yeah. Listen,
I think staying up longer because I have a plan. So
yeah.
that plan, you can do it. I like that
Exactly.
because the
Yeah.
situation is totally different than when I was raised. You know, I'm a 1966 babe, so our standards was you go to bed at 11 and that's it. There's no question, or 10 or whatever the time was. But today, kids can negotiate. I have a project.
They can negotiate.
Because he's tapped in, tuned in, and turned on to his gift.
Exactly.
So how can you tell a kid no, they can't stay up and they're going to create something?
You can't do it. And the thing is, I feel like a lot of these kids are just coming out like super smart anyway, because it's a new world. And as long as we, that's why we have to instill these ideas into them earlier. Like you can create something. Somebody wrote back, I don't know her, she's a reader, and she wrote me and she said, you know, your book really inspired something in my son. You know, now that he read this, we're coming out with a new business for him. Like now he has business ideas. So it's just that idea again. Everything obviously is around like entrepreneurship. But it's just
1 minute. Now tell us about I Know I Can, and then I'm gonna
sure.
Know how they can get your books. Okay.
Sure. Okay. So I Know I Can, as I mentioned, is about a valedictorian, but there's also there are a lot of global themes. So it's about, as I mentioned, a girl who has vivid dreams of traveling world and meeting historical figures. So she travels to South Africa, she travels to Cuba, she travels to France, and then she has dreams of meeting historical figures. She meets Dr. King, who tells her to continue the fight for economic justice. And then in this book, I wanted to highlight elements of historical figures that people don't always talk about. So they're all like, it's a wonderful thing, you know, everyone's mentioning the I Have a Dream Street speech, but no one references when Dr. King was like, bring me my check, so there's that part. And then she has a classical piano lesson with Nina Simone, and who tells her it's a fact that she's young, gifted, and Black. And I did that because Nina Simone was a classical pianist, and she really wanted to be known for that. And she, due to racism, that she did not get the classical career she wanted, but thank God that she did it because we got her. I mean, I like classical too, but so anyway, to be young, gifted, and Black, if she had only played Beethoven, we may not have gotten that. So I just included just different elements of historical figures that I really wanted to highlight. And in terms of buying them, my company's website is Boxout, BOXXOUT.com. So www.boxxout.com, and you can find any and everything I create under that website.
Well, you are definitely young, gifted, and Black.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Young talent. I'm just loving what you're doing, and your books are to be proud of. They're going to change some kids' lives.
Thank you.
The hands that get these books, they're going to change their lives, because if they want these books, or if they are put in front of them at a very early age, they're going to learn what they see in front of them. And those books are just a phenomenal beginning for kids to me. That's why
Thank you so much.
Wonderful. I love the graphics, the Empower Pack. I love that.
Yes. Thank you.
That's so empowering just to say it. Empower Pack. That's one of my key words. That's why I'm stressing it, because I use that word a lot. And it motivates me to keep the bookstore going, even when it was a slow period, But it's not slow anymore. We're doing extremely well since the pandemic, which is really strange.
It is very strange, but you know what?
I'll be honest with you, and the world. We have more Caucasian and other nationalities from across the world who are buying from Detroit Book City right now. So they're supporting this platform so more people can read. And then they can read about us so they can understand African Americans a little bit better. Juneteenth is a holiday that needs to take place every year, and it needs to be recognized with everyone. It's a unity. Unity is the only thing we can solve social change. It's gonna take unity. So
yeah, they have a lot of work to do, but I'm glad that they're reading now, because
there's a lot of work to do.
They have a lot of work to do.
Yeah.
And I'm glad that because frankly, unless they do the work, we're gonna still maintain our joy. We're gonna still persevere, because our ancestors taught us we're still here, right? But we shouldn't have to work as hard as we have to do to survive and thrive. And so in order for us to do what we're here to do, I'm dedicated to our children, but they need to be dedicated to becoming their best selves so they can improve everyone's experience.
I hope that the people who do see what needs to happen right now, the social change, they can talk to others around them and share the love.
Yes, absolutely.
So I have hope and faith that this movement, this energy will continue and we'll be a better world over here in America.
And globally. There's so much work to do globally.
And globally.
There's so much work to do.
We got to wrap it up now. Again, let the audience know how they can get your wonderful books. You have 3 of them. You have that Empower Pack. Give them the website again, and then we'll let you out to the universe.
Perfect. The website is boxxout.com. Boxout.com. boxxout.com. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you so much for being here, and you make sure you enjoy the rest of your Juneteenth.
Thank you. I'm going to ship some books right now.
It's Juneteenth, honey. Entrepreneurship too. I've been entrepreneur for a long time, so I understand when you reap those benefits finally, right?
Yes, yes.
Something good you're putting out there. You can't lose.
Yes. Thank you so much. Okay. Thank you. Have a great day. Bye-bye.
All right. That was a dynamic interview with Veronica Chapman. She is on fire. I love her energy. I love the product that she's putting on the market. You know, her tools, her empowering tools for the kids. It's going to make a difference in their lives. So if you're watching the show, make sure you get a copy of that book. Even if you're from another culture, you know, your kids can understand that we have achievements and we have desires and goals and dreams, and many of us reach them. You know, we have to realize it's one race and it's called the human race. So we thank you for supporting Detroit Book City. We thank you for being here. I'm a genuine person. You can see right through me. I just appreciate all business that come our way. And this business is really missionary driven. It's, you know, I'm passionate about it. I love books. And it's important that we buy all books. We don't just, if you're a reader, you don't just listen from one perspective. You have to draw from different books and different, you know, perceptions or ideologies about things. So you can come up with your own conclusion of how you feel about whatever it is. So let's keep moving. Our next guest author is Taylor Darks. Let's talk about Taylor. She is known as TB Darks. She is a writer and author of new children's novel, The Fluffy Adventures of Fromo. Let me say that again. The Fluffy Adventures of Fromo. Her first book, Caged, a poetic collection of the African-American experience, released in 2017, and is currently part of the Sociology of the Black Experience class curriculum at Florida A&M University. Her second book, Wash Day, a popular children's book, was released in 2018. Ladies and gentlemen, let's bring in Taylor Darks, better known as TB Darks. Hi, Taylor. I can't hear you. Oh, there we go. We're getting used to virtual.
There we go. I'm back. Sorry.
How are you today?
I'm doing well. I hope you enjoyed your Juneteenth.
I am so far. I'm just so high in spirit, and I'm just connecting with the ancestors, and I'm living through their strength and their empowerment and love. That's how I'm feeling. How about you?
I'm feeling good. I'm feeling optimistic. So I think my Juneteenth was pretty awesome.
Well, we are so excited to have you on our show today. You know, participating. Okay, we got some. Are you there?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I just want to make sure I had seen a little feedback. You know, this technology, I hate to keep stressing it, but it's not perfect. I hope they perfect it even more, since it seems like it's going to be the new norm. You know, I hope they can get rid of some of the slack in the technology realm. But tell us about Juneteenth. What does Juneteenth mean to you before we talk about your wonderful book?
Juneteenth to me, I feel like is like a mixture of freedom and also progress, and pulling on the fact of looking at like Jim Crow and the civil rights movement and things that happened shortly after Juneteenth. I feel like the best word for it is progress, because we still have a long way to go and making freedom on the books a everyday reality in terms of how we live and what we do. So progress would be like the best word to describe Juneteenth.
Wonderful. That's wonderful. That's great. Yep. Yep. So how long have you known about Juneteenth? Tell me that. You kind of faded out, so I have to pick up what I'm hearing. We're having some technical difficulties a little bit. So
I thought about that the other day because I saw something on Instagram about that, and I believe I learned about it before college. I feel like it's been so long, I don't remember when exactly I learned about it. So I'm not sure. I think pre undergrad, I already kind of had a sense of what it is, and then when I went into college, I learned a lot more about it.
Okay, great. We're still having some difficulty, but we're going to continue to talk. Tell us about your children's novel, The Fluffy Adventures of Fromo. That's right there on the screen. What is that book about?
Okay, so let me see, I point this way. Okay, yeah. So The Fluffy Adventures of Fromo was inspired by my own hair care journey. I have another book called Wash Day, which is like for kids that all looks at hair. So I love hair and hair puns, of course. So The Fluffy Adventures of Fromo kind of combines hair love, creativity, superheroes all in like one book. So it's The Fluffy Adventures of Fromo. The main character is Meek. She's a superhero and all this hair products to catch her villains. So she has like afro picks that are like ninja stars and sticky spray she makes out of leave-in conditioner. And her parents, her sidekick's name is Oil. And her other sidekick's name's Fade. Her parents are Wonder Weave and the Bald Spot. So it's really funny and fun for kids to kind of enjoy hair and enjoy how creative hair can be.
Or not enjoy hair. Oh, no, just kidding. It can be rough sometimes. That is wonderful. So how many pages is it? And is it a chapter book?
It is a chapter book. I don't know if it'll let me with this virtual background. Oh, it did. There we go. It's a chapter book. It has 12 chapters, about 106 pages. It also comes, there's also a Common Core Standards curriculum for teachers and they can use. And I also just updated the website with something called the Reading is Frotastic classroom curriculum, our classroom box. So it has an activity guide, the curriculum, a poster, 2 books, and you also write the office. So you need to write it to me and I'll write back and we present it to the class and kind of stuff like that. And yeah, so I think it's a really good book, especially being very timely.
So this is a book for like maybe 3rd to 5th graders. Is that the age range? 3rd to 5th?
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
3rd to 5th. Yeah.
Exactly.
That is wonderful. And you published this book when?
It's been a year. So the sequel is about to come out September 1st, which is the Fluffy Adventures of Fro and the Halloween haircut. So it's Halloween themed. So that comes out September 1st.
So if you talk real stiff, we can hear you because we're getting some negative feedback. It's kind of shaky. I don't know if we got one of us have a bad connection. So I'm going to continue to ask you questions about TV Darks though, because that's a great book. It looks interesting. And does she, okay, so when you add your next books to this sequel, are you going to add new characters or what's the future plans for this book?
Definitely new characters. The second book is the Halloween haircut. The third book is the tryout. So she starts playing sports. The fourth book is Happy Valentine's Day. So there's new villains and characters added each time that Fromo has to navigate and defeat sometimes, but sometimes she befriends them. And the last 2 are Troop 007. So of course she joins the Girl Scouts. And after that is Attack of the Loch Ness Monster. So they're kind of rolling out one a year, I'm hoping. But that next one is scheduled for September 1st.
September 1st. That is wonderful. Well, you got to be excited about this book because I am looking at it for sure, right? This is a wonderful book. It needs to be in our bookstore. That's why I'm just looking at it like, oh my gosh, our parents love this one. You know, we have a lot of teachers and we've gotten a lot of accounts with, since the pandemic, we've gotten accounts with some of the libraries. They're buying books from us. And then some of the daycares. And, you know, we add books to our website on a daily basis because we still have a lot of books to put up. So we need to talk afterwards. I think we're going to buy some from you and, you know, keep them in stock with Detroit.
Thank you.
That's going to go really well. I think there's another book called Cutie Pie. They're a local author and illustrator, a family team, and they published their books back in 2012. but it's called Cutie Pie, and it's a series. It's about 4 or 5 books, and it's a wonderful book. And we have those, and I bought them wholesale, you know, to keep them stocked here because of the storyline and the character. And I mean, it makes kids excited. You know, it makes them excited and like it's a fun thing to read. You know, I think characters is a very important thing. All right, that's wonderful. So tell people how they can get your book. How do they get it?
It's available. I have in the corner this way, so I'm getting used to it. I have it in the corner. www.tbdarksauthor.com is where they can order directly from me. And all the side you can do Amazon. I believe might be in Barnes and Noble, Walmart. It has a lot of different places to get the book. It's not just through me, but it'll say on the website also if they want their copies signed or anything like that, or if I have them in stock to sign. But that's the best way to get them would be Amazon or my website.
Well, we got a few more minutes. Let's talk about your other one. So that's TD Darks. That's the chapter book. That's for the 5th to 3rd graders. She's a great character. She has some more books coming with some friends. That's a good one. Great job. Great job. Proud of you. Now, your other book you did back in 2017, I think this is your debut book, right? It's called Caged. A poetic collection of the African American experience. What is that about?
I wrote that while I was in undergrad at FAMU. Essentially, it's, I believe, 25 or so individual poems broken up 3 parts. And it takes you on a journey where it combines the past with the present in terms of what we're all experiencing. So it almost brings them together to collide. So that's why it's a poetic collection of the African experience, because it remember our history and we also have to see where we're going. So that's what the book kind of does, where it takes you on a journey with various characters and various players within the book of how we've gotten to where we are today and what we need to take forward.
So who's the reader of that book? Who would buy that book?
I would say high school and up. It's not necessarily for children. I would say it would be a really good book to break down for high schoolers. It would be a really good book for adults just to kind of digest and think differently about what's going on. Because we read books, we read articles, we watch documentaries, but poetry is a different kind of medium that brings something different out of us. So it gives you a different look at it.
I totally agree. And then I just realized that there's another book that you Wash Day. You talked about that a little bit earlier. And
oh, wow.
You have a copy of that cover? You can
I believe
you got about 2 minutes.
I do. One moment.
Okay, great.
Oh, I'm right here. So here's Wash Day. If I can get it.
Oh, wonderful.
Background. There we go. So Wash Day is about a little girl named Nina, and she's going on a journey essentially with her hair. And we've all had these moments where you're running around the house and you don't want to get your hair. Let's see, can I get it to work? There we go. And you don't exactly want to get your hair done, but that's what's happening today. And it really preaches self-love and self-confidence. That's like the goal of this book. And that's what I suggest teachers do with the book is not necessarily, you want to focus on her hair, but you also want to focus on her understanding that she's beautiful the way she is. And that's kind of like the meaning of that book, and the meaning of a lot of my books. But
yes,
that one specific is, people have kind of mentioned, are you going to write different kinds of books? And I'm writing a novel, and then I'm writing another children's chapter book that aren't hair related.
But don't take
right
away.
Now it's fun. So
Don't go away. Don't detach yourself away from producing hair books, because they are. We love the hair books. I mean, it's part of our culture. You can't let back in the day we used to watch Soul Train with the big afro. Hair's always been an important, very important thing in our lives as Black women, because we have different textures. So you can always have an audience with your hair books. You can even do a board book one day with the hair. Yeah, so expand. Don't listen. That's why you're running with this book, because you're doing your own thing. The outside world, just wait for it to come out, because it's going to be great. Don't worry. Don't tell them your secrets. Everybody, thank you for tuning in and watching. Thank you so much for coming. If you're interested in buying her books, first of all, do we have any questions before we go? Any questions about her book? No, I don't see any questions. I guess that's pretty thorough. You can buy her book at tbdarksauthor.com. Again, that's tbdarksauthor.com. Well, thank you so much for coming in and joining us for the Juneteenth
Thank you.
book fair.
Thank you for
Have a
having
good
me.
weekend.
You too.
And we're going to talk later about putting that book aside.
We are.
All right. Have a good one.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
All right. Wow. That was such a great book. You know, she's the one that produces the hair books for kids. I think that's important because growing up, I had a nice woolly set of hair, and I still do, as you can tell, but I love it. I mean, it's natural, it's me. But it was at a certain length, like here, and if it's woolly like this down here, then it's hard to comb through. So we had to sit in the kitchen and get our hair pressed and curled for Easter and Christmas. And it was an interesting experience, an excruciating experience sometimes. So that's important because, you know, growing up, you can't get the perms at a young age. You know, if your hair is a certain texture, you have to have that service, you know. So those books can explain to kids that it's okay to have woolly hair. It's okay to have this texture. You know, there are a lot of things we can do with it. We can twist it, we can cut it off, you know, we can put it in Afro puff ponytails. So I think Taylor needs to continue doing hair books. She needs to come out with the baby board book and then maybe a teen guide on, you know, different hairstyles. So the imagination can really flow with doing hair books for African-American women. All right, let's see who's next. We have Kimberly Davis Peters. Let's check out Kimberly. Okay. Kimberly began her writing career in children's literature with a vision to inspire little readers through the power of storytelling. Her unique style with themes related to family, milestones, imagination, and adventure are sure to bring joy to young people or young children everywhere. Whether it is an important lesson or simple laughter, Kimberly crafts insightful stories that are perfect for the little reader in your family. Ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome Kimberly Davis Peters to the platform. Hi, Kimberly. Are you there? Hey.
Hey, how are you?
I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good.
Happy Juneteenth weekend.
Yes, thank you.
How are you feeling? You're a writer, so I know your mind is somewhere.
You know, I've just had so many mixed emotions over the last couple of weeks. And honestly, Juneteenth, for me, it's bittersweet because we are celebrating something that is our birthright, and that's freedom.
Right.
You know, and so it's been hard. But I think about during Juneteenth, I think about all of the people that sacrificed to allow us to be here. You know, I think about all that they gave so that we'd have the opportunity to be here. And, you know, so it's inspiring. It makes me feel like I also need to do the same thing and thinking about our future generations, which is why I'm so passionate about children's writing, because I do want to sow seeds into the future generations. So our, you know, generations before us did that for us, and so I'm excited to do that for the next generation.
Yeah, I think we need to keep that moment. We're gonna have to keep that momentum going.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
it can't no
absolutely.
longer be called old school. It has to be called new school now, right?
Right, right.
We have to keep these values and these morals in place. We have to instill them in our kids very young, like, and let them know it is the norm.
Mm-hmm.
It is the norm. But society, you know, have things set up where, you know, a lot of young African-American kids, our culture don't realize that these things are natural because they weren't exposed to them. So yeah. Juneteenth is a healing period. It's a connection to our ancestors. It's liberty.
Mhm.
It's unity. It's so many different words, so many acronyms. I mean, I can go on and on and on because I'm passionately connected to Juneteenth. And when I found out about it, I decided we're going to push it out every year from Detroit Book City. I think it's important for people to connect to who we are and
Right.
realize that we are really a good culture of people.
Right.
Especially with
Absolutely.
existing conditions that exist, so you can't see it and you were raised in it. So I'm hoping that this new movement that exists will open up some um, social change and some positive
Absolutely. Absolutely.
outcomes, especially for our new generation that's going to be our next leaders. So,
Yes, yes. And there's so many, this year, there's so many eyes on Juneteenth. I've gotten so many questions about, from my non-African American friends, coworkers, and, the spotlight is on Juneteenth. And so it makes me proud to be able to explain the importance of it. I'm not ashamed of it. It is our
you do it very
history.
well. You do it very well. You're very authentic. You do it very well.
Thank you. Thank you. And so I'm proud of where we've come from, and I'm very inspired on where we are going. Yes.
That's wonderful.
Yep.
All right, let's talk about your book now. We got that away.
Yes.
Is it Ellie's Bookshop?
Yes. So my website, you can find me at elliesbookshop.com. I wrote my first novel in 2019. Seems like forever ago.
Congratulations. Accomplishment.
Right? Anyone who has been through this process knows it is like giving birth. There's so much that goes on behind the scenes to get a book out to the public. So I'm very proud of it. I've been writing in some way, shape, or form forever. My background, I have a background in consumer science and marketing and communication. So I've always written for other people in business, and I've always been a reader. And what brought me to the children's book industry is I have a 3-year-old little girl. She'll be 4 tomorrow. So happy birthday to her. And we were going to her first book fair at her daycare. And it was a Scholastic book fair. And because I love reading so much, I really was excited to share this moment with her. I wanted to find some books that represented her. She could see herself. And I was looking forward to the experience. And when I got there, and we're talking cases and cases, hundreds of books. And out of these hundreds of books, I was so disappointed because there were 3 with an African American character. And we got those 3 books and enjoyed them.
All 3 of them.
all three of them, right? And so, but it didn't sit well with me. So I was talking to, people in my circle, in my network, just saying how disappointed I was that where we are today, there's not more representation. And I had a good friend remind me that, hey, Kim, you're a writer, and I hear you, and you are the right one to help impact this industry and put some representation in there. And why don't you write a book? And it was something I'd never in my life thought about at all. But I sat down and I started crafting, and I wanted something for her to see herself, something to say, mommy made this for me, and to be proud of. And so that is, we became Ellie and the Rainy Day.
Open up a little bit more. Go over your face real quick. You got to find. Oh, I forgot. You got to find your position.
Good.
There we go. Ellie.
There we go. Ellie and the Rainy Day, available at elliesbookshop.com. This is a beautiful story about a little girl who cannot play outside because it's raining, and she is distraught. She thinks her day is ruined. And her mom steps in and really shows her that there are some alternatives, some other options, so that she can still enjoy her day. So they spend the day together, bonding, doing lots of indoor activities as well. And when it's all said and done, Ellie decides that even though the day didn't start how she wanted it, she had a good day. And I think that's a good message, especially today. Even as adults, I think I've had adults say, wow, this was a good message for me, to always look for the rainbow in a rainy day, or just understand that there are going to be things that don't go our way. They don't turn out the way that we want them to, but it doesn't mean that we give up. It doesn't mean that we we can't still have a really fun adventure with life.
I agree. I felt that way when I was growing up. And I was the baby girl. And when it rained outside or my sisters weren't there, it was three of us. I always got spoiled with even with the rain. So we had the window open a little bit and the wind coming in and you're under the covers. So you can have some really good fun during weather situations.
Yep.
That's wonderful. Your book is beautifully illustrated.
Thank you.
Really
This book is illustrated by Jasmine Mills.
okay.
It was my first time working with her. I connected with her on Fiverr. Shout out to Jasmine Mills. You did a wonderful job here. And the process was amazing. Everyone that I worked with, from editors to the illustrator, people that touched it in any way, shape, or form, they really helped me throughout the process. And I thought that this was going to be a one and done situation for me. I just intended to write this one book. And I really have fallen in love with the process and just bringing a vision to life and seeing it in front of you. And so I'm committed. I'm now a children's author. Yeah, I am a children's author. I do work in corporate America. I have a 9-to-5 job that I do, but this passion keeps me going, and we're moving out of corporate America and moving into full-time. Absolutely.
That's amazing. So tell the audience, what age range is your book for, and how many pages?
Yeah, good question. So this book, I would say probably 3 to 5-ish, but you could definitely introduce it to kids as young as 1 or 2. And I think it's a really great message, even for kids maybe 6 or 7 years old as well. So that would be the age range I would recommend. And it is only, it's 24 pages, so it's a really quick read.
Wonderful. And I'm sure it has a lot of beautifully illustrated pages in the inside, right?
Yes. I'll see if I can here's one of my favorite pages. Let me see if I can get my positioning right.
Isn't that nice?
Yes. So there's Ellie. You can see Ellie and her mom, and they're singing in the rain with their umbrellas.
Very colorful and vibrant. The illustration
Yes.
Beautiful, and that's so important in a picture book for kids.
Absolutely.
So connect to the picture to see what that person's doing.
Absolutely.
So I commend you. Someone's asking, Tiffany asked, what is your website again? So maybe you might want to your website. That's wonderful.
Yes. elliesbookshop.com. I'll see if I can maybe get my positioning right here. I don't know if you can see it. I'll spell it out though. It's ELLIESBOOKSHOP.com. I'll say it one more time if we need to before we end. Anyone who signs up today, if you subscribe, you will stay in touch on this amazing adventure that we're going to be going on. Like I said, this is the first book, but we absolutely have more in the works. Anyone who subscribes, anyone who subscribes today will receive a free copy of Ellie and the Rainy Day. So please subscribe. I want you guys to come along with this, with me on this adventure, and I am very excited on what we have coming up.
Wonderful. We are so happy for you because this is your debut book, correct?
Absolutely, yes.
I'm so excited for you. Honestly,
Yes.
Beautiful book, and the little girls and boys. It's for little girls and boys. They need to understand, just what you can do when it's raining outside. And just you can create any kind of fun you want in any place that you are, no matter when, where, and how. You can create what you want for yourself.
Yes.
That's what it's basically.
Yeah, it's too. And as I talk to people and see how the book impacts them, it is really a twofold message. So number one, we are connected, as we know. We're connected to devices all day long. My little one, she's 3, like I said, turning 4. And she's already, can I get on the tablet? Can I, she's connected to a device in some way, shape, or form a lot during the day. And I know that's a lot of us. So number one, it's disconnecting from that and connecting back to things that we used to do, painting and, cooking with our parents and, reading stories and just playing. I used to play in the summer all day long from sunup to when the street lights came on. Had to go in the house when those street lights came on, but all day long, right? So that's one of the messages. And then I think rainy days, we can think about them as, things that are going to happen as barriers or obstacles in our life, right? We are going to have those rainy days.
Exactly. We have 1 minute left and we have 2 questions.
Yes. Oh, okay.
Can you buy on other websites besides your website?
Yes, you can. You can also find Ellie and the Rainy Day on Amazon.com.
Okay, wonderful. And Glenn asks, Jasmine Mills is illustrating my books. Great to work with. Oh, okay. You just complimented the person that asked you the question. So she must be, she must be an illustrator. Then he just complimented her, saying that she illustrated his books and she's great to work with. So maybe she'll come after you for some business, huh?
Yes, she is amazing. Anyone who's interested, feel free to reach out to me at hello@elliesbookshop.com. I'll be happy to pass on her information.
So you do know Jasmine McCall? You know that person?
Oh, Jasmine McCall. No, that's my sister. Hey, Jasmine.
Okay. So Jasmine, okay, got it. I'm trying to put 2 and 2 together. Oh, you know what? This is a Jasmine Mills. I have to pay attention to the little small words. I have a disclaimer. This is a virtual book fair, so I'm getting used to having to read each part of the screen. I see the difference here. It was Jasmine McCall, and then it's Jasmine Mills, who's an illustrator.
Yes,
okay.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much. You have a great Juneteenth weekend. You know, continue to stand your higher self. Continue to write these great books. I look forward to your future books, and I'm going to keep an eye on you. Detroit Book City's going to keep an eye on you. So
yeah, absolutely. We have Cocoa Tea and Honey coming out really soon in the next month or so. It talks about the different beautiful shades of brown that we all come in. It's a great story just to celebrate our own shades and each other as well. So be on the lookout for that. I appreciate you all. Thank you so much for allowing me a little bit of your time. And like I said, sign up for elliesbookshop.com, get a free copy of Ellie and the Rainy Day, and have an amazing Juneteenth, everyone. Thank you so much.
You too. One more question. What's the price for Ellie? What's the price? I didn't ask you about price.
Yes, the current price is $12.99.
Okay, great.
Yep,
So
and
we'll be in touch with you too about Ellie's range. We'll be in touch with you as well.
Absolutely. Oh, sounds good. I would love that.
Have a good one. Take care.
Thank you. Bye. Thank you, everyone.
Well, that was a very inspiring conversation, and I like that her book is about the weather and, you know, just connecting kids to the 4 seasons that we have. Those things are important for preschoolers. So I look forward to her future writings. Dynamic woman. Yeah, Black writers. We're celebrating Black writers today. So if you're online and you're listening in to Detroit Book City's Juneteenth virtual book fair, I hope that you're taking the information down to support these authors. They're writing from their hearts. They're on their creative sides. They're tapped in, tuned in, and turned on to what they should be doing. And that's writing books and sharing their stories. We have to remember stories matter. They're on the inside of us. They're inside our souls. We have to get them out to the world. You know, maybe it'll make the world a better place, you know? So this is exciting. Let's see, who do we have next on the roster? Obed Figueroa. Oh my gosh, my pronunciation is terrible. Obed Figueroa. He's going to correct me when he gets on. Let's talk about Obed. Obed has been a leader in education, influencing primary education schools to graduate medical education. He helped lead key national initiatives while helping embed the values and behaviors that shape organizational behavior. His experience includes establishing new schools, workshops, academic programs, and minority-focused initiatives at an array of universities and nonprofits in New York City, including Touro College and the University of Medicine and Health Sciences. He holds a bachelor's degree from Stony Brook University. He holds a bachelor's degree from Sunny Empire State College and a master's degree from Stony Brook University. Obed's irregular columnist, and his peer review research publications in diversity and management and sustainability can be found at Medical Education Online, the Journal of Management and Sustainability, and the Journal of International Research. Ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome Obed. He'll be here shortly. Obed, hi, are you there?
Yes,
How are you?
I'm good. Let me just turn on the camera. How are you?
I'm great. That was a challenging intro. You know, you're testing my reading skills. Very interesting background. I'm very
Thank you.
impressed.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
Yeah, you're doing some great things in the world.
Yes, that's the intention. It's not for vanity, for sure.
Yes. So tell us, what does Juneteenth mean to you?
So to me, it means liberation. It reminds me of the wickedness that is possible in humanity. Um, it reminds me of the strength of our people, you know, and yeah, it gives me strength. It gives me strength to see that so much has been overcome and still needs to be overcome. So yes, that's what it means to me, man. So I'm glad to see the acknowledgement that's now global, because I was not unaware of this. My education was in New York City, and this was not taught. This was not part of the curriculum. And so for me as an adult, I learned about Juneteenth probably about 3 years ago, as a result of my diversity work.
Diversity work. Yeah, talk about that really quick, your diversity work, before we get into your book, which is titled Marcus Learns About Different Types of Doctors.
Yes, thank you.
We want to make sure the audience know that this is where we're going. But real quick, tell us about the work that you're doing in the community right now.
Right. So currently I'm directing the enrollment for a middle school and a high school. Historically, I've always managed enrollment. And so typically in that process, I am the one in charge of screening. And so in that screening process that I've been doing for 20 years, from primary school to graduate school, I was able to identify low representation. And so having that autonomy to put in those screening mechanisms and assemble those committees, I was able to put in place, opportunities and also eliminate barriers that I saw were in place in these screening processes, right? So I've been blessed to have that opportunity. So I'm doing it now in middle school and high school. I was doing it for medical schools as well. And so, what does that mean? So really working with the committees to know what questions to ask, working with them to eliminate biases so that they are not only pulling in students from Columbia, so that it's a broad perspective when they're screening applicants, eliminating testing barriers, giving more weight to non-cognitive variables, meaning for someone who has overcome adversity and it's demonstrated, acknowledging that, giving weight to that. But I'll pause there. So that's been the body of my work.
Providing the service, who are you providing the service with to?
So currently?
I said, who are you providing the service to?
So it's been primarily for educational institutions.
Okay, education.
Yeah, right. So and it gives me that opportunity again to influence those screening processes.
Wonderful.
I've been in charge of them.
That's wonderful work.
Thank you.
Talk to us about, okay, so that's your career side, 9 to 5. Let's talk about that creative side with your book. Tell us about Marcus Learns About Different Types of Doctors and show us the cover.
Sure, absolutely. Thank you. And I have an animated video, like 1 minute that I think it's 2 minutes to show you.
Okay, good.
So,
get that real quick too.
So this is the cover. Marcus Learns About Different Types of Doctors. So published by Austin Macaulay, and it was released in January of this year. So it's been blowing up. And in the animation, it also shows, it could be purchased through Target, Amazon, and all online resources.
And then we'll talk about it. You want to show it right quick?
Sure.
That way I'll make sure we get
Sure.
it.
So share my screen, right? Host disabled participant screen sharing.
Okay, let's correct that. My disclaimer is I'm getting used to the virtual world.
Oh, it's all good. It's all
Okay, we're all good now.
good. Okay.
great. Now, was that supposed to be sound on there or no?
Yes, you didn't hear the sound. It was playing.
I didn't hear the sound. Did you hear the sound? I hope our audience heard the sound. Can we have a show of hands, or can you put something in the chat saying that you heard the sound, anyone? Because I couldn't hear the sound. Did you hear it on your end, Ohad? Yes?
Yes, I heard it playing.
Okay, good. Well, I hope everybody else in the audience heard it as well.
Oh, no sound. They're saying no sound.
So
Okay, well, so what I can say, I do apologize. I don't know what's happening, but
the visual.
I can say to you, yeah, I definitely want you guys to see the visuals, because that's where the biggest intent is to be made for our children. It's accessible.
We'll load
I'm
it to
sorry.
we'll load it to the website. We'll load it to the website,
Awesome.
our Facebook page after we attend after the program. We'll do that.
Right, so it's accessible on YouTube, definitely. Just, type it in my name, and Marcus Learns About Different Types of Doctors, it comes out. So public accessible.
But there was out of that. We did see the pictures. So we did see the visuals. That was great, because most people that spoke today, we couldn't see the inside of the book. So
Right.
talk about it real quick. What is it? How did you decide to write about the different types of doctors?
Well, the 20 years of screening through these applications, right? And so most often they're submitting to me essays, and those essays are talking about how they got to the place where they are, these applicants, right? Like, how did I struggle? Did I struggle in high school, elementary school? Did I struggle in college? And now I'm in grad school trying to be a doctor. So I'm reading all these thousands and thousands of essays, and now they're doctors, right? The people that I approved are now doctors across the country. What I identified when I was reading those essays was, one, I can relate to some of those struggles. If you're first gen, first person going into college in your family, like, that's a new world. The language, the walk, you're unfamiliar. So what I wanted to do with this book, the intention was to start dropping the seeds earlier, because many of them, hundreds of them, said, I wish I knew earlier. Not about the idea of not the idea to become a doctor per se, but really to know, what is podiatry? What is osteopathic medicine? What is, what's the, I'm a nurse. And so really what I wanted to do was drop those seeds of a young kid speaking to his elders, and them going within their community. I didn't want someone from the outside to be a savior. I wanted to show that a young person can speak to an elder, that elder would utilize community resources and get him mentorship and exposure in their community, which was the Bronx. It happens to be Bronx based, which is where I was born.
Phenomenal. That's phenomenal. Wow.
Yeah, so I wanted to give the visuals. I wanted the kid to see when they read podiatry, which will be something very new. I wanted them to see a big graphic image, right? So this is for elementary school kids.
Okay, so what age range?
Yeah, elementary to middle. I wanted them to hear the word, and then I wanted them to conceptualize, to see the image,
right.
See what the practitioner does. Right. So, for dentistry, podiatry, osteopathic medicine, I wanted it to be embedded in the head through a visual, so that they now heard the word, see the image, and it hopefully stays in there, that curiosity that we burned.
That's very creative. It's a very creative book. And I have not seen any book, like I told you the other day, I've never seen one like it. So it's a very interesting book. How many pages is the book?
I believe it's like 20. It's, again, real short read. For this age demographic, it's heavy illustration, short content, but it is part of a book series with my publisher. And so the next one will be for middle school, towards the latter of middle school. So more heavy content, less illustration, and a lot more, the content will take you on his journey, and throw in all those variables of, how does he navigate when a teacher says, oh, you should play basketball. Why go into the sciences? Or that's too hard. Or you're cute. You should be a model. So we kind of like address all of that. When people are saying to him these things, how does he stay channeled and focused? And again, it's all showing his support systems, not going outside of their community, his elders and his community.
That is wonderful. That's a great book. I mean, it gives the kids an early learning program about what a doctor does with illustrations, like the early age. I mean, it could be for a third grader and a second.
Yes, exactly.
Putting those simple words with it. And then you got the middle school coming out. So if they stick with the program, look at the middle school book next, and it'll take them to that. And then by high school, they're going to be ready to go.
Exactly. I wanted it to be a tool, right?
Yes.
So this is not something for my vanity. This is really a tool that teachers
I
can
don't
use.
feel that at all. I feel it's very.
Yeah. Thank you, ma'am. So so it's a teaching tool, and the Medical Association for Podiatry actually contacted me.
That's wonderful.
So they're going to be using it as a recruitment tool to go into the urban communities across New York State. And then also put it on their websites, to get it out, to get the word out there. Now that I've given them these visual illustrations that encourage one to consider podiatry.
That's awesome. Your book is phenomenal.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
Well, you thought that out pretty well, and I can really see it going very far. Good luck to you and congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you.
This is your
This
first
is the
book?
first. Yeah, not my first publication in terms of research. So all that led me to this is all my research in inclusion, low representation. So I often will publish articles in medical journals or management journals that speak to how does one become more inclusive, like how does a system change, and so I'm published in that way, academically and non-academic in newspapers.
That's awesome. Well, congratulations. I mean,
Thank
it's
you.
a great book.
I'm excited.
Yes. So tell everybody how they can get their hands on your book.
Sure.
Uh-oh. Sorry, technical difficulty. 1 second. Hi, Charlene. I'm going to put you on hold for a second. I'm sorry. I have a disclaimer. I'm learning the virtual world.
It's okay. We're working it. We're working it. So to end, the book can be purchased online. So if someone, due to the coronavirus, not having access to stores, you can purchase it online, Amazon, Barnes and Nobles, Target, all online. And also Amazon has it in Kindle. So if you want it digitally, it's available digitally and also through my publisher digitally and also hard copy.
Okay. Well, thank you so much for coming on our show. We appreciate
It's been
you
a pleasure.
coming to let us know about your wonderful book.
Thank you, man.
That you really put some thought into that, thinking about the young kid who has a dream of being a doctor, but when they go to look for a book that talks about how to be a doctor at that young age, you don't really find it.
And images that look like him.
That's the key. So I lift it up. It's gonna go far.
Thank you. I appreciate what you're doing as well. So thank you so much.
But thank you for being on our show, and good luck to you. And please enjoy the rest of your Juneteenth.
Yes, thank you. Bye-bye.
All right, everybody, that was Obed Figueroa. I'm pronouncing his name right. That's a different name. This book is so unique. I've never seen a book like his, with the African-American character in it that talks about doctors, at a young age and having a career in medicine. So I commend him for even coming up with that idea. We all have such a real strong creative side to us, and it's up to us to tap into it, to bring something to the world, to help change the world, to make it a better place, and to instill it in our kids at a very, very young age. It's so, so important. So let's keep our show moving because we have more guests, more African-American authors. And our next author is Charlene Goddard. Let's talk about Charlene. She is a new children's author. She recently launched her first children's book, Magnificent Macy, illustrated by her twin sister, Brittany Goddard. Interesting. My book encourages children to find the superhero within them and to also be a hero to someone in need. Wow. We just talked about empowering and, what's the book? What was the book called? Empowering Me. So let's meet Charlene. Hi, Charlene.
Hi, how are you?
I'm great for second day of Juneteenth. How about you?
I'm good. I'm great.
Good. It's good to see you. I see that you have your beautiful, vibrant colored banner behind you.
Yes, I wanted to give a visual for everyone to see.
Great. We're going to talk about your book quickly, but let's talk about Juneteenth.
Yes.
What is Juneteenth? What does it mean to you?
Well, to me, Juneteenth means free but not equal. And the reason for that is because even though it was the day that slavery was abolished and slaves were physically free, but they were still fighting to be seen as equal by society. Many people still didn't view them as equal. Even they faced racism, they still had others, they faced prejudice too. people did not view them as equal to them because they look different. And that's something that we're still fighting today, as we can all see the different unfortunate events that are going on. So that's still a fight that we're fighting as a country, to view others who do not look like us as equal to us.
So imagine what the generation or two before us, imagine how they're feeling right now. After
Right.
the civil rights movement. And now here it is 2020, we have a pandemic. Oof.
Right. And we're still seeing.
And then start looking at all the other injustices that's going on. It's like it's a global awareness.
Yes.
The COVID-19 woke us all up.
Yes, it did. It sure did. And we're still seeing protesting. We still have protesting going on, just like, you know, some of like people from back then, they were the protesters. Now we're the protesters for the same reason.
The same reason.
Right.
You know, I think I reflect on 3 different eras: the 1800s, 1865, 63.
Mhm.
Then I think about the 1960s, and then I think about 2020.
Yes.
Those 3 eras remind me a lot of each other because the revolution is so strong. I mean, it's just so much going on at one time. All the conspiracies and all the ideologies about what's happening. And a lot of times people open their mouth and tell you what they feel, their perception. All of it's true.
Right.
There's
Exactly.
a lot going on. So
Exactly. Yeah. And it's like history repeating itself a little bit. So
it is like history repeating itself. So what I do see a light in it, and I see a light in it because we have when we took the walks and we did the petitions back then, it was us and maybe a few other Caucasian.
yes.
But now it's a little bit of everybody. So
Right.
I think that this social change will happen. It will take place, and it's going to take unity because we have
definitely.
we have pre-existing conditions that exist.
Right. Yes.
To overcome them. You know, it's going to come from the heart.
Exactly. Yeah.
So you either have a light heart or you have a dark heart. People, there's no in between. Sorry. You are either living in light or dark. So make a decision.
Exactly. Yeah. No in between.
So let's talk about the Magnificent Macy. Let's see a book. You have the book cover?
Yes, I do. So this is my book, Magnificent Macy. I'll back it up for you guys. That's the cover. And I actually have a twin sister. Her name's Brittany Goddard, and she's my illustrator.
Is she anywhere around?
No, she's not around right now, but
Let's see how much you guys look alike.
we're fraternal, so we don't look alike.
Okay, gotcha. I get fascinated with twins, so
yeah, so we collab together to produce this project, and it's the first book that I wrote and the first book she illustrated.
oh, that's wonderful. Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you.
That's a major accomplishment. Congrats.
Thank you. Thank you.
What gave
Appreciate
you
it.
guys the idea to put together Magnificent Macy? Tell us about it.
Well, I'll tell you guys about my inspiration. I have a 10-year-old daughter. Her name is Sky. And when she started going to public school, she noticed that she didn't see many of the characters in the stories and the movies that they will watch that looked like her. There wasn't much representation of African-American characters in the education system and in the media as well. And, you know, she would come home and tell me like, oh, I did, you know, she's very vocal. So she would say these things to me like, oh, I don't see people who look like me. Or
She was awakened, huh? She's awakened spirit.
in the book. And even, yes, yeah, she is. And even and I mentioned this before, African Black History Month, they didn't learn about any African Americans that made a difference in her school until, you know, she had to mention it to them, and then they incorporated that into the curriculum. But I had a issue with that, and I was thinking, well, if she didn't say anything, you know, would you guys have taught about these individuals? So that sparked something in me to try to change that and try to incorporate more different characters of color and different races into the education system, into the media, so that all kids can see someone who looks like them, someone who they can relate to. And I also want to encourage children that my book it encourages children that they can find it's a hero within them, and they have to just pull it out, and they have to be confident, they have to work hard and be brave. And I want every kid to know that they're magnificent in their own way.
Let's see the book cover again. Let's see this. Awesome. A superhero in the mirror. That is beautiful.
Yeah.
I love her hair. So natural. How many?
Can I give it?
Who's the age range? Who is it for?
Well, the age range is 3 to 10, and it's so broad because it's a message for everyone, and it's very educational as well. I wanted to give a brief summary about my book, if that's okay. Okay. So my book is about a little girl named Macy, and like every other little girl, like my little girl, she likes to, sneak in her mother's clothes and her mother's makeup, and she walks around the house and she has this handheld mirror that she likes to look into. And one day she trips over a toy and she breaks the mirror. So ever since that day, her whole life changed. She became a superhero. So now every mirror she looks into is like a portal to a different part of the world. It's a different city, state, or country. And in order to complete each mission, she has to perform an act of kindness.
Wow.
So
I love that plot. That's nice.
thank you. And
like that. But go ahead.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead. And I also incorporated real world issues into my story, like extreme poverty rate, high crime rate in different areas of the world, to bring awareness to that in a perspective that kids can understand.
That's awesome. How many pages is it?
It is 34 pages.
Does it have a lot of pictures? Is it a picture book?
Yes. Can I read an excerpt of my book?
Sure can. Absolutely.
Okay. So this is an example of a real world issue that's going on that I included in my book. So she's talking to a bird named Chirp. Okay, so I'm going to read to you guys. The bird said, "It's okay, Macy. Don't be scared. Don't be shy. My name is Chirp and I will be your tour guide. Every mirror you glance in shows places of the world that are in need. It may be a different state, country, or just doing a good deed. Your job is to complete each mission at hand. This mission calls for you to save the people of Congo's land." And here's one picture. So she's in Congo, and Congo asked Macy, Congo asked Macy, "What is that? What do they need?" Chirp replied, "Congo is a country in Africa, a rich country indeed, rich in resources that only nature can breed. But at the same time, mothers have children they can barely feed. We are in the beautiful Congo Basin, but not too far away are families that live in huts, surviving off of $1 a day." And here's another picture.
Awesome. So she's over in Africa.
Yes.
Oh, okay. That's wonderful.
Thank you.
You are introducing your readers to Africa, the motherland.
Yes. Yes.
Did you mention that in your book, by the way? Do you mention it as the motherland?
I don't mention that it's the motherland, but I do mention that it's very rich in natural resources like diamonds, oil, things like that. Yes. And I explain, even though it's rich in natural resources, people there still suffer from extreme poverty. And I explain why in a perspective that the kids can understand.
Which is so flip-flop to me.
You said
it's
flip-flop.
so flip-flop to me.
Oh, yes, I know.
The land are still suffering with all these resources around them.
Right.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's an important book.
Thank you. And another place I speak about in my book is St. Louis, Missouri. And I talk about how it's one of the most dangerous cities. St. Louis, one of the most dangerous cities in the US. So.
And that's where this takes place. She started off in St. Louis and then she goes into Congo, and wow, that's wonderful. That's like imaginative,
Yes. I wanted to incorporate fantasy and real life into my story.
Raising the reader that way can go a long way.
Yes.
even if they were in poverty and they were reading these type of books.
Mhm.
You know, their mindset can take them to just wonderful places. You know,
Yeah.
excelling academically and, you know, staying empowered internally. That
Right.
book is amazing. That's
Thank you.
you reside in St. Louis, Missouri? Is that where you reside?
No, I live in New Jersey, Franklinville, New Jersey.
It's similar, New Jersey.
Yeah.
Missouri,
Yeah.
the urban city. So there's a lot of obstacles, unfortunately, in big cities.
Yeah. Yes.
I love Magnificent Mason.
Thank
Congratulations.
you.
Congratulations
Thank
to your sister.
Thank you.
We have to talk afterwards about how we can get some of those books sold through Detroit Book City. It's a great,
Oh yes, yes, absolutely. I would love that.
it's temporarily closed, but I'm working on something right now to accommodate, because we have 52 authors at our store that was selling on consignment. And when we
Oh,
close
wow.
rarely, you know, hopefully we'll be back out there soon, but I'm not safe. I don't feel safe here. I lost people around me. So, you know, I know people who lost their lives to COVID-19. So
Mhm.
that's a serious thing. And I still watch the news and I pay attention. And I'm PPE.
Right.
I don't want people to walk into our establishment. You know, it's too early.
Yeah, it is.
So
It is scary.
stop African Americans from selling their books. I'm working on some type of module where we can have your mail, and but we'll talk about it. But thank you so much for coming on the show, and your book is magnificent. Yeah, magnificent.
Oh, and you guys, if you want to purchase or check out my book, you can visit my website. It's www.magnificentmacie, Macie spelled MACIE.com.
Great. And we will mention this again on the website and on Facebook, how they can get a hold of it. Okay, we'll
Yeah.
Overview of how they can get your book. Anybody have any questions in the audience that's watching? Real quick, because we're running 2 minutes over. All right, there. Well, you have a great weekend. Enjoy the rest of Juneteenth. Stay in the light.
Yes, you too.
Through it all. Just stay in the light. Keep writing. Okay?
Yes, thank you so much. Thank you for having me.
Okay, thank you. Have a good one.
You too. Thank you.
All right, everyone. That was Magnificent Macie. The book author is Charlene Goddard. Her and her sister wrote that book. And it basically is a superhero type book for girls. You know, she starts off in St. Louis, Missouri, and then she goes through the mirror and she ends up in Africa. She experiences their lives over there. Interesting, very interesting book. All right, so who do we have next? Ashia Golson is our next author. Okay, I don't see our next book open. Let's scroll down. Looks like we have a few minutes. Hold on one second. Let's see. Yeah, it looks like we got a break. So during this break, oh, there's Ashia. There's Ashia. Let's see what time she is supposed to go at 2 o'clock. Okay, Ashia, we're gonna come back to you in a few minutes. We're gonna do a poll real quick with our audience. So I'm gonna put you on hold real quick. Her time frame is at 2 o'clock. So let's do a poll real quick. I have to ask you guys some questions, okay? We're gonna do our first poll. Let me open it up. And here's our first poll today. How many of you just learned of Juneteenth? If you could answer the poll, we'd greatly appreciate it. We want to know what you learned and what you have been learning and where you are with Juneteenth. Oh, 5 people said they already know about Juneteenth. Wonderful. One person said they just learned of it. All right, congratulations for learning about Juneteenth. Gives you a different perspective about us. We're good people. We're loving. We're one race. We're the human race. So that's awesome. Honestly, I just learned a couple years ago myself, maybe about 5 or 6 years ago. So we decided as Detroit Book City that we would, we would promote it and we would push it out there and we would celebrate with it. I should put it like that, not promote it, but kind of disseminate it to the world or to people around us, so they can have an understanding of our struggle, but our strengths as well, because we are a resilient people. So, all right, let's see. 2 people said they just learned of Juneteenth. If you're currently a part of our participating audience, please take the survey to book the poll. Okay, I have another one for you guys while we're waiting. Let's see, let's go to our second poll. That's an interesting one. So just for the results of this poll, we had 2 people to say they just learned of Juneteenth, and then we have 6 people who said they already knew about Juneteenth. Anybody else want to vote before we shut it down? I should have some Jeopardy music playing behind me, right? All right, so we're gonna end this poll. Thanks so much for taking that one. Let's do another poll. Okay, that's the results on that one. Okay, let's go to our next poll. Okay, technology. Oh, poll number 2. Here we go. You know, I'm gonna give it a month, and I'm gonna master this thing. This Zoom, I'm gonna be really good with Zoom real soon. Okay, here's the next poll, guys. Do you have any books of color in your home library? So while you answer this one, I'm gonna go refresh my water. Oh, wow, 100%. 100% of you guys have books of color in your home library. I'm impressed. That's wonderful. You know, and I bet you do, because that's why you're watching live with us today, because you are a book reader and you believe that reading is important, and you know that it can take you to around the world and back. You know, we read about our own experiences. We really can't lose in no kind of way. I mean, it's just good to be balanced and, you know, aware of what we go through as a race. You just never know what goes on in people's lives, but they usually tell it their stories. You know, the narrative, every story matters. So, oh, one person said, no, they don't. Okay, well, this is a great opportunity for you to include books of color in your library. Our books are very, very positive, and we have the same energy and ambition and dreams and desires as any other culture out there. So if you don't have any in your household, make sure you grab some. It will give you some balance, and it'll let other people around you know that you are a balanced person when it comes to culture and social skills. All right, we're gonna ask them one more question. Anybody else want to answer? Oh, 11 people said yes, they have books of color in their home. Wonderful. Great. We just have one person who doesn't have colored books, and that person's on the call right now so that they can have access. Okay, this one. And we have one more poll before we meet our next guest talk. Number 3, have you ever purchased a book from an independent Black author? Maybe at a book fair, or you saw them out with a pop-up somewhere, around Livernois, but have you ever purchased one and had an autographed copy done? Tell us about that. Okay, let you guys take that poll right quick. Oh, let me launch it. That would be nice. Here's the poll, guys. Okay, I'm back. Let's see the results here. Hi, Althea. I'm gonna come right back to you. Hold on 1 second. Oh, I have you on here twice. Why? Okay, we'll be right back. All right, let's see what our poll says. Have you ever purchased a book from an independent book author? 8 people said yes. Wonderful. Yay, this is great. So we have some avid readers that's listening to us today. Well, we are so happy you are here today. This platform is designed to connect book readers to African Americans, authors. Oh, we have some comments on here on the chat. Let's see what we can read right quick because we still have 4 minutes. Kimberly says, yes, remember that independent authors don't have the same resources as traditionally published authors. So books may be slightly higher, but well worth it and often autographed. I agree. So, yes. And then Laura Lee has a question. Will you be able to provide a list of authors we have seen today, along with where we can find their books, website, etc.? I'm in and out and trying to take notes. I don't want to miss everyone. Absolutely, Laura Lee. We will definitely have that information up on our website and on Facebook. Okay, sounds good. And then Melba has a comment. I purchased one for my nephew, Quinn Woodard. Oh, Quinn book is just beautiful. He will be one of the panelists later today. Yes, he will. He has a wonderful book. I know who Quinn is. Awesome. Well, thank you guys for your participation in our poll and your comments. And we thank you for being here to celebrate Juneteenth 2020. Very interesting year, time, and era with the pandemic and, COVID-19 shutting us down completely, being home, quarantined, and you're hearing about relatives or friends who have caught COVID-19 and either survived, didn't survive. There was a point where I was watching Facebook, just on our business page, and I would go to my personal page, and it was just horrific just to see how many people were dying, and they were African Americans. They were either, an associate of mine or a colleague of mine, and it was their relative, their mom, their sister, aunt. It was a pretty devastating experience, this COVID-19. So, our physical bookstore was in its 3rd year. We were actually striving. We had gotten to the school system, and we were about to set up like Scholastic and sell to the children's direct, the children direct and their parents. And, all that was kind of shut down real quick. I need to take a really quick move. I'll be right back in 1 minute. Okay, I apologize for that, but we are working from home now. Remember that. So those are books that we just got in from our suppliers. So I had to answer the door. Yes, this is the new setup. This is the shift. We are doing virtual book fairs with home interruptions. Okay, so funny. But we're going to continue our show. Let's see if we have any more questions before we get started. Oh, Glenn has a question. How can authors send their information to you for your review and bookstores? Well, Glenn, you can send it to me, Janice, at DetroitBookCity.com. And we are not accepting any consignment book sales right now because our store is not open. We are currently holding on to like 50 book authors' books right now because we're trying to decide, it was a bookshelf agreement consignment form, Now it's a virtual book fair. I mean, book consignment situation. So we're trying to get through the details of that. Once we do, you know, we will contact you. So just email me your information and let me know you're interested in consigning, because we're trying to set up a module from our website where, you know, Black authors can sell their book, and then their funds will go directly to them or to you, and you send the book out. You know, just a platform where everyone can sell. I guess they call it a marketplace now. You know, so we're thinking about adding a marketplace to Detroit Book City's bookstore. And if you go that way, you can buy books from Black authors. And if you go that way, you can buy books from Detroit Book City. And we sell all genres, even though we specialize in African Americans, but they are, you know, primarily by the major publishers. It looks like we got one more question. Will you put out a list of books we should be reading now? Absolutely. We'd love to do that. Matter of fact, we've gotten lists from new customers, groups like Livonia Public Library, and a Jewish school, and you know, so they're sending us lists of different, and then of course our publishing houses are sending us all kinds of anti-racism, culturally diverse, and social change books. I'll put it like that, you know. So we are going to put together a list. We were just trying to get through our Juneteenth celebration. And we got swamped with calls or orders over the last week and a half, maybe like 250 to 300 orders that we had to process, you know, right after the pandemic. So we were swamped, overwhelmingly swamped with orders, but we got them out. We got them out. Okay, so let's get ready for our next guest. Thank you guys for asking those questions and participating in the poll. Just to wrap up the poll with the purchase the book from the independent Black author. Nine people said yes, and one person said no. Okay, so what did that go? Let's move on with our scheduled programming. Our next book author we're going to bring to the platform is Ashia Golson. She is a native New Yorker and a Fordham University alumna who has called Metro Atlanta her home for over 20 years. Currently an English teacher in a public school, she is an avid reader and a supporter of literacy and the arts in her community. She is also a fun-loving novelist, screenwriter, and entrepreneur. Good. Who loves spending quiet time with her family, church family, and close friends. Ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome Ashia Golson. Hi, Ashia.
Hi, how are you?
Blessed and highly favored. How are you?
Excellent, excellent. I've been just sitting here hoping nothing technical goes wrong.
So far, we're having a good experience, you know, since we're all doing this new virtual thing. It's not
Right. No, I mean on my end, I'm just like, don't move, don't mess anything up, just don't move.
everything looks good. I can hear you very well. Sure.
Okay, good. How are you?
Oh, we're good. I'm good. I'm enjoying Juneteenth in spirit and truth.
Wonderful.
How about you?
Same here.
So let's just kick it off because we got 3 minutes in already.
Okay.
We'll give you 3 more minutes. How about that?
Okay.
What does Juneteenth mean to you?
Juneteenth means to me freedom. It means just absolute freedom. It's celebrating our freedom. It is an overcoming. Like we're on this journey to overcome. We have not yet overcome, unfortunately, because of all the things that go on that we're dealing with concerning racism still in the country. However, for me, it's a feeling of overcoming. We are on a journey and we're working towards that every day.
Every day you're working toward it.
Every day. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it saddens me sometimes when I turn the TV on and then, I get into my meditation and I can find truth in things. And despite our ancestors went through that and we are still experiencing some of those illnesses, I call it.
Absolutely.
I still can sustain myself and center myself.
Right.
In the midst of it, receive the blessings that come.
Yes.
And formats like this to bless the world.
Absolutely.
You have to find something good in it. And if you seek, you shall receive, right?
Right. You're right.
I understand. And then I have my moment when I get to reading because I love to read and I love history.
Oh, yes.
And I'm like, why did this happen?
Right. I know. History. And I used to not like history when I was in school, but that's because I never got the fullness of it. You know, I was never given the whole story. Now I love it. You know, incredible.
Yes.
Incredible.
There's some good stories.
Yes, absolutely.
Stories.
Absolutely.
That's why we celebrate Juneteenth, you know, right?
Yes.
Once a year, then we do it just like any other nationality. There's no discrimination. There's no racism behind it. There's no violence behind it. We just love our culture just like everybody else loves theirs.
Exactly. Exactly.
Despite the challenges and the stresses that go on.
Right.
We still
Right.
have to have a love for it and keep moving forward and connecting our people to opportunities.
Definitely. Definitely to opportunities. Yes.
Well, let's
I
talk
agree.
about your children's book. Oh gosh, Jade
Okay.
Pants, Granny Gets Rolling.
Right.
Oh, Granny. That was my grandmother's name too, by the way. We call my mother's mother, we call her Granny.
You call her Granny, right? Yes.
Well, I know Under the Coconut Tree and
Yes.
Selma and the Big Purple Hat. So you have
Yes.
4 books.
Yes, I do. And another one upcoming, coming out at the end of the month as well.
And I didn't see it in your bio, but how long have you been writing?
I've been writing my entire life. So from just being a little girl, being an only child, that was my outlet. Reading, love to read. And then it was building something inside of me. Although I didn't know I was a writer because I was constantly, you'd find me cutting out, pictures, drawing, basically making books is what I was doing from an early age.
You're a product of the Raising Reader population.
Yes, yes,
So
yes.
that's wonderful. Okay. So keep
Absolutely.
talking. Tell us about your book. Tell us about Jaden and the Magic Pants.
Okay, well, let's start with Jaden. All right, so Jaden, this is Jaden and the Magic Pants, right?
Oh. Wait, set it up somewhere. I can't see it.
Can you see
Oh,
now?
there it is. He's back.
Right.
All right.
Right. And so, and this actually came to me because I've been teaching I've been writing professionally since 2008. Like I said, I've been writing all my entire life, but professionally published in 2008. I published novels and been publishing ever since. So, but the thing with this book, that inspired me was because I've also been teaching for over 30 years.
Right.
And so it was one of my students at the time that actually inspired this book. His struggle with keeping up his pants.
Oh.
Yes, and yes, very cute, very cute.
Even
So
30 years. Okay.
yes, right. So so Jaden is a preschooler. He has a problem keeping up his pants, no matter what, because when you're young and you're struggling with the belt buckle and you just can't quite get it. And so his teacher tells him, because he's, of course, what happens when something like that happens and your pants are constantly falling down, you're going to be bullied, right? Somebody's going to mock you because your pants are always falling down. And so Jaden's a little upset about that. But his teacher tells him, Jaden, don't worry about that. You have, you have magic pants. Maybe your pants are magic. And that works out for Jaden. That totally works out his problem, his issue. And you have to buy a copy and read it to see how it works out for him.
All right. Sounds
Yes.
good.
Yes.
What about book number 2? Granny Gets Rolling. I kind of
Okay.
that one. I love that one.
Okay. All right. So Granny Gets Rolling. And this actually came.
Picture.
Okay, and this actually came out of a true story also. The inspiration for it did. Because there was one afternoon maybe about a year or so ago in the summer, and I wanted to get some ice cream for my grandchildren. I was visiting my daughter and I heard the ice cream truck coming. So, innocent me, I'm gonna get these grandbabies some ice cream.
Right.
I go outside. Right, you're hurrying. I go outside, ice cream truck gone. I'm like, are you serious?
Oh, I remember those days.
Yes, really, the ice just gone. I was like, you know what? I'm gonna catch this truck. Like, this is ridiculous. And so I was adamant about catching the truck. Had to actually follow him a little ways, up, kind of, jogging briskly. I'm like, this is ridiculous. And I eventually caught him. He apologized. And so this is a similar concept. Because this granny she just wants to get her grandkids some ice cream.
Right.
And you would think it would be a simple task, but every time she makes an attempt, she misses the ice cream truck. So she has to devise a plan to catch that ice cream truck, to get the goodies.
Wow.
Yes.
Amazing. Yes, we all had that story. That's a historical story right there.
Right. Really, you had that problem too?
No, I had it when I was little, chasing the ice cream.
Right. Chasing the ice cream truck. Right.
Oh, yes, that's old school.
Right. Like, shouldn't the ice cream truck stop for you? You know,
Good, you would think.
you would think, right?
And
Funny.
book number 3, Rolando Under the Coconut Tree.
Okay, so Rolando Under the Coconut Tree. Doesn't this look peaceful? Can you see it?
Oh, wait, whoops, it was a glare.
Okay.
Oh, very nice.
Okay, so Rolando, that peaceful life, that's him. That's all he wants to do. So that's the problem, right? Because in life you have to do more than just be caught relaxing under the coconut tree. And so his mom is sending him on an errand, and he just can't seem to get the errand done because this is all he wants to do. He just wants to relax under the coconut tree. And so he gets into some trouble, right? And then something has to happen to him to change his lazy ways.
I see. So how old is he in that book?
He's about 6.
6. Okay.
Yes. So he's young. Yeah, a lot to learn. Right.
End of that book, right? There's a message.
Yes, there's a message at the end. Yes.
Okay. How many? So, and then number 4, I'll go over number 4. Then we'll ask more questions about each book. So
Sure.
The big purple hat. Zola in the big purple hat.
Zola in the big purple hat.
So go up so
Right.
we can see it. Hold the fire.
Okay.
Oh, nice.
Okay. Thank you. So Zola finds this hat. She's not on a search for the hat. It's no mission or anything, but she ends up going shopping with her mother, and she's a little bit bored, as young children can be in the store. And while mom is busy finding her clothes, guess what? Zola finds this big purple hat, and that's all she's interested in. That's all she wants, right? So she ends up buying the hat. And when kids have like a favorite toy or a favorite bear or favorite jacket or favorite whatever, usually they wear it out, right? And so she keeps this hat. She loves this hat. So she's wearing the hat to bed with her. She's got the hat in the pool. She's everywhere on the playground. And mom warns her, right? Mom warns her, look, if you don't give that hat a break, you're going to mess up that hat. So, of course, we know what happens.
Right.
And you have to read it to see how she gets out of that mess.
Okay.
Yes.
So all 4 of your books, it look like it's for what age range? They're all in the same.
So the age range for these books are like preschool. So like anyone child from like 2 to about 7 for these picture books.
Okay. And the pages, what's the length of the pages?
The length of the pages, let's see, I don't even know, about 20 pages.
Oh, 20 pages. Most of them.
Right. Because they have short attention spans.
Yes.
Right. So I've taught every grade. I've taught preschool, I've taught kindergarten, I've taught every elementary grade in my lifetime. And now I teach high school, actually.
Oh, and I teach high school. So
Yes.
school books on, or?
I've actually given it thought. Not soon, no time soon. I've just got so many ideas. I've got so many actually already written. They just haven't been put together, but I've got so many ideas. So maybe once I get that out of my system, who knows?
What's the cost of your books? Are they all priced the same, or?
Yeah, these are all priced the same. I try to keep costs low, so that, for access for everyone. So the price of these are $8.95.
Oh, wonderful!
Right, and they're also on Kindle for $2.99.
Well, we
And,
talked about putting a couple of your titles on our online store.
Okay, wonderful. I would love that.
We're coming up with a module.
Right.
We're gonna build it, and it's gonna be like a marketplace where you guys.
Oh, excellent.
And like Amazon, but it's
Right.
It's us.
Oh, wonderful. Great. That's exciting.
Orders and
Right. Because it's
we're gonna link it from our website, so that's coming very soon.
okay. Wonderful. It's so exciting to see, characters of color. I'm seeing a lot more of that now because when I was a little girl and like I said, loving to read, that was wonderful, but it was very rare to have, to have actual African-American characters. It was very rare.
And we're very fortunate to have African-American writers.
Yes, definitely.
We
So
congratulate you guys for celebrating your freedom with literacy and
Thank
taking
you so much.
and telling your stories.
Right, right. I love it. I just love it.
For you before we go. Let's see. Catherine said, my 3-year-old son is watching with me and liked the
Okay.
description of Jaden's magic things.
Okay, wonderful.
Mommy, let's read it, mommy. We will be
Oh,
yay.
oh, hi.
Connections. Where
Great, great.
to the virtual book fair, okay?
Oh, I know, right? I
Because
love this idea.
you know,
Yes, yes.
and we got another question, another comment.
Okay, okay.
So delightful. I buy books for my nieces and nephews, but I
Mhm.
always read them first to be sure that they are appropriate and fun. I just love
Definitely.
the covers. Oh, that's wonderful. Look like you got some customers.
Okay, wonderful.
So we're gonna
I'm
make
so
sure
excited.
this channel name and information
Okay,
get put up on our website, you know,
okay.
on Facebook, so that individuals
Great,
want to know they can buy your books.
great, excellent. And thank you.
Everybody,
Thank
how
you.
they can get your books sold. We'll wrap it up with that.
All right, very simply on Amazon right now. Right now, I'm very simply Amazon, just keeping it simple right now in terms of marketing and everything, just very simply on Amazon. Again, if you have Kindle Unlimited, it's free right now. If you have just have Kindle and you purchase it, it's $2.99. Or if you want to purchase the actual paperback, it's $8.95.
Awesome, awesome.
Yes.
All right. Well, thank you so much for being our
Thank you. Thank you. I've enjoyed myself.
We're proud of you and congratulations on your books.
Thank you so much.
And we're gonna continue to connect people to you so
I
that you're
appreciate it.
flourished around the world. You
Right.
know?
And thank you so much for having such a forum.
You are so welcome. It's
Wonderful.
on your mind, honey. Well, you have a very good Juneteenth, and we'll talk to
Right.
you soon.
Thank you. All right. Goodbye out there.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Oh, that was very refreshing. Ashia Goldson. That was very refreshing, you know, to look at a Black woman writing her books in that capacity, working with young kids on a daily basis, but then also putting together books that highlight African American characters with great storylines. So we're going to put her information up after the show so you guys can have access to her books. I'm looking for our next author. Let's see. I appreciate your patience as we cope with this virtual book fair, this new medium, the shift, with our book expos, Detroit Book City expos. All right, so let's introduce our next author. I'm trying to get to his website real quick. Jaquan Hawkins. He is, oh, let's go. I guess I can type it in. See if I can give you a really quick overview of his background. I'm going to bring Jaquan on. Jaquan Hawkins, I'm going to bring you on because I didn't get your profile. Oh, you're upside, you're to the left. Maybe your phone needs to be turned that way, or I see you in a different, I see you virtual instead of horizontal. Can you hear me?
Okay. I was trying to get everything in the shot. Can you hear me?
I can hear you, but I see you like.
I was trying to get everything in the shot. So when you had put in the instructions to go horizontal, I went horizontal, but I can go.
Yeah,
I can go vertical.
That's before we practice with this thing.
Understood. Yeah. So I'll just hold the books up because I was trying to capture everything.
Yeah, I know.
But
yeah, so
it's all good. We'll make it work.
I did have those instructions, but when we practiced that day, it didn't work out very well. So
Understood. I'll just do my, Vanna Black and hold up the books when the time is right.
Okay. Well, how are you?
I'm doing excellent. It's been a great Juneteenth weekend thus far.
That's wonderful. You're such a go-getter, man. I can't keep up with you,
Just trying to, you got to stay in motion. And I know you know that better than anybody.
Oh, yes. This is a natural thing. If I wasn't doing anything, I feel like I'm not right, Got to keep it moving.
Absolutely. You inspire me in that way, so I appreciate that.
Oh, well, I'm impressed. So, look, I didn't get to read your bio, so we're just going to jump in. Tell us about yourself. I'm not going to ask you about Juneteenth because you have so many phenomenal things going on in the city of Southfield, especially where the store is. And I know that you are a career college guys dean. You're a dean. Yeah. Okay.
We'll do that. We'll do that. I'm a native Detroiter, and thank you for hosting this. I think it's critically important that authors, in particular independent authors, have an opportunity to tell their stories. So thank you for keeping this movement going, even in this virtual environment. So I would be remiss if I didn't say that first.
But you are so honored.
But a little bit about myself. I'm a native Detroiter. Jawan Hawkins is my name. Looks like Jaquan if you ever see it in writing, but it's Jawan, believe me.
Oh, Jawan.
And see, now the cat's out the bag. But I'm middle son of 3 boys, born to a single mother on the west side of Detroit. She sent me over to the east side to King for high school, and so I got a little bit of west side in me. I think it all just melds together to make you the person that you are. Being the mama's boy that I am, I stayed home to go to college at Wayne State University and got my degree in sociology from there. And my first time really leaving the nest was for grad school to go to Illinois in the middle of nowhere, middle of a cornfield. Yeah, to Eastern Illinois, and that's where I got my master's in college student affairs. So ever since 2006, I've been working in the higher education environment, and obviously came back to Wayne State to assist students with reaching their educational goals. So that's one snippet of what I do. I don't know how much in depth you want me to go.
Well, I know you're a dean at Oakland Community College too, right? Aren't you a dean there?
Yes. Yes, so my position is Dean of Student Services at the Auburn Hills of Oakland Community College. And that's one of the seeds of inspiration for me as an author is seeing students that come into our environment who are a little bit of a deer in the headlights as it relates to how to adjust to the culture. So as we talk about my first publication, we'll discuss a little bit about that. But yes, I still work in that capacity. I enjoy helping students reach their educational and personal goals. In addition to being a Dean of Student Services at OCC, I also serve as a college success coach, and I started that business back in 2012. So I work more one-on-one with students in small groups and helping them understand the culture, the rigor, and the environment of higher education and how to navigate it. In particular, as a first-generation college student, because that's what I was. I was a first-generation college student.
Well, let's expound on that. Show us your book. That's your first book, right?
Yeah, so this book, Finding My Way, A Practical Guide to College Success, was
wonderful.
Published back in 2016. Out to Tammy Turner, who's a renowned author in her own right, and she is a headhunter. So she goes out and finds talent for organizations that are seeking talent. But I sat on her couch in February of 2016 and talked through or asked her a lot of questions and picked her brain about the process of becoming an independent author. And she poured into me everything that I needed to know to make it happen. And by June, the book was published and it was out there for students to consume, for parents to share with their students. And I see it as an empowering tool for students like myself who didn't know how to adjust to the higher education environment. And I put all the nuggets, all the tools, all the strategies that people poured into me, I put in this book. And it's a genuine piece of work. It was a labor of love, and hopefully it's been an inspiration and empowering tool for students.
Yeah, especially with you being in the dean role, you really know what the requirements are for a person to enter college. So that's a very fun, hold it up again, that's a phenomenal book.
Yes, thank you.
What age range? Kind of high school kids, right? The high schoolers?
Yeah, school kids. I mean, it's graduation season, so this is the perfect graduation gift for your class of 2020 graduate. Okay. Something for them to read during the summer as they prepare for life in higher education, be it a community college, PWI, HBCU. I think the tools that I share in the book are applicable to any of those environments because, you know, many of us don't know what we don't know until we get into that situation. And, you know, the margin for error, especially financially is more narrow now than it was when I was in school. You know, I could, you know, figure it out. I got, you know, 2 or 3 semesters to figure it out as a freshman. And now after your first semester, if you're not, you know, trending toward matriculating to being a sophomore, they're already looking at what they call your satisfactory academic progress to determine whether or not you should continue receiving financial aid and other mechanisms to
Uh-oh, technical difficulty. Hold on 1 second. That's a disclaimer for me, Juwan. I have a disclaimer that I'm learning the virtual thing. So I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, no problem. No problem. I was just saying that the margin for error is much smaller. So now it's critically important that students get it right from day one.
I
And
agree.
so as much information as we can feed them before they land in that environment, the more confident they'll be as they start matriculating, and that financial aid clock starts ticking, if you will, because it'll run out very
Well, you know,
quickly if you don't make a move and you don't get it from day one.
I need to get a copy of that book because I have a high school graduate next year. Yes, she'll be a senior.
All
next year.
right.
I gotta get a copy of that book. How many pages is that book, by the way?
It's a little bit over 100 pages, but that includes, I know one of the things that as higher education professionals we do is we throw around a lot of jargon that only we understand, but our students and our community members and parents don't understand.
Right.
And so about 10 to 15 of those pages is actually a glossary of commonly used terms in the higher education environment that we want to familiarize our students with, so that they speak the same language that we're speaking.
Wonderful. Now, tell us about book. Wait, and that book is how much? What's the price on that book?
You know what? In the spirit of Juneteenth, book retails at $20, but every book website, JawanHawkins.com, is 40% off this weekend. So this weekend, 40% off. The promo code is freedom. Everybody can remember that. This is Juneteenth, so the promo code is freedom. Anytime between now and the close of business on Monday, the 22nd, you can grab this book as well as Donovan's College Adventure at my website, JawanHawkins.com, for 40% off that $20.
That is wonderful. Thanks for letting them know about that promo. Like you said, it's a great graduation gift for sure. So
no doubt.
That's someone I'm going to buy that book too. One of my daughter's friends graduated this year, so we're going to spread that out. Tell us about book 2. We're ready for book 2.
So book 2 was actually inspired in part by you, Janice. You don't know this, but when I started going to your book fairs back in 2016, after I published Finding My Way, what I realized was that so many people were bringing small children, and I had nothing. I had no content for that population. So although I believe in staying in my lane, and my lane is higher education, I wanted to find a way to connect our youngest people, our most precious jewels, our youth, to the higher education environment. And at that time, my son Donovan was 5. And we read a lot, obviously, in the Hawkins household because his dad's an author. So naturally, we're going to read, right? And so I said, you know what, wouldn't it be cool to sort of immortalize him, if you will, as a character in a future book that connects kids his age to the careers and the things that they want to do when they grow up, understanding that education is going to be a huge part of that. So Donovan's College Adventure actually introduces our elementary age children to the higher education environment through the lens of one of their peers, the main character, whose name is Donovan Mack. And so I love the fact that this book is culturally relevant, and it obviously provides a context for all the cool things that college students get to do on a daily basis, but through the lens of a non-threatening or non-intimidating character who hopefully they can see in themselves. And so this book has been well received by many.
Oh, I know. I am so proud of Donovan's College Adventure. And I'm proud of Donovan. He is such a witty young man. Every time I turn my around, I just like chuckle from way down deep in my soul somewhere because he is so funny.
He's a character.
And intelligent. It's like he's the future, I don't know, Obama somebody, president? I don't know. But just having that type of guidance at a young age, he is phenomenal. Both of your books are. They're really relevant. And these are tools that you did your research. These are things that they need. The high school kid needs that book right there because they fall in between 11th and 12th grade and don't take care of a lot of things they need to take care of. Even when they graduate, they're like, oh, what did I decide? So if they got a guide like that, that would help them along the way. And then this book right here teaches them at a young age, hey, I'm college bound. I'm college made, you know, I can do anything. You know, it's inspiring. Congratulations.
Thank you so much. It's Father's Day weekend, and I tell Donovan all the time that he inspires me as a parent, you know, and I think that, you know, we take that for granted, how much we can learn from our children and how much they can inspire us to do things that perhaps we didn't foresee ourselves doing before we had them. So I'm appreciative to God every day for Donovan.
Yes, yes, yes. Well, you got a superstar in your hands, that's for sure. How many pages is that book?
This book is 28 pages. One of my favorite portions of the book, though, and I have to say this, is Donovan's 7 cool kids tips. And it's sort of a mantra, an affirmation, if you will, that students can repeat to themselves every day. My favorite one is, you don't have to be perfect to be great. And we know that as adults because we've stumbled so many times in life and things that we were trying to achieve, and perhaps it didn't turn out the way that we thought it would. But it doesn't mean that what you're trying to achieve and the path that you're taking to make that thing happen isn't a good path or isn't the right path. And I just want students to understand that you don't have to get it perfect in order to be awesome. So I love the fact that our students can read these daily, and it's a reminder to them how phenomenal they can be.
Well, you're definitely an asset to the kids. I tell you, from little kids up to high school kids, you're to college kids. You are definitely an asset to the community. We're very, 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 very proud. Frat brother.
That's right. That's right. That's right. Absolutely. You know, I had to do it. You know, I had to do it.
And what's the price on Donovan's college adventure? What's the price on that one?
So Donovan's College Adventure, and all of these books come signed. So by myself, and this one actually comes signed by Donovan and myself. So this one on the website retails at $14.99, and it is also available for the discount. Freedom is the promo code. Once again, 40% off. 40% off at JawanHawkins.com.
Awesome. So let's repeat that website again.
It's JawanHawkins.com, JAHQUAN, Hawkins, just like it sounds, .com.
We got one comment from the attendee. It's from
okay.
one of the authors that was appeared earlier. It says, connecting to kids. Yes, to see themselves. Please consider making an animation. Love that you don't have to be perfect. Love it.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Obed. I appreciate that. I have been exploring opportunities to get an animated character created for Donovan. So,
well, that's awesome.
Absolutely.
We're so proud of you, and thank you for coming on our Juneteenth virtual book fair. And because you're always at all of our fairs, you know, you're one of our main supporters with Detroit Book City. So we appreciate you. We're
going to keep it going.
Keep it
Absolutely.
moving.
Yeah, we're going to keep it moving virtually, and then when the time is right, we'll see each other face to face.
Face to face again. And instead of 80 authors, maybe 160 authors. Watch out.
That's right. That's right.
Black trade show, Black book trade show in the country.
That's right. There's no lid on your jar, Janice. I know you can make it happen.
Oh, we're going to try. Let's see what God got in store for us.
Indeed,
right.
Indeed.
Well, have a great weekend and enjoy the rest of your Juneteenth, sir.
Okay, you do the same. Have an awesome book fair, okay?
Okay, we will. Take care.
Take care.
All right, guys. That was the wonderful Jawan. Oh, he said his name. He said the pronunciation. I still say it the way I say it, but he's a wonderful guy. He's very active in the community, working with kids. And, you know, every time I see him on social media, I'm impressed. I'm like, what is he doing now? This is so wonderful. I'm impressed in a positive way. I'm a positive spirit. So I love to see people succeed. You know, it's supposed to be inside of you. So when people tap in and tune in and turn on that creative side, I'm more excited than you. Okay. So that's why we hold this platform. And I figure in my career as a bookstore owner, I'm just going to continue to promote authors. You know, I want them to get a piece of the pie. I want their experiences to be shared. You know, stories matter. They matter, and they're inside of all of us, you know, and it's up to us to get it out to the world. So we need platforms to do that. And if the other people have platforms to promote authors, hey, we commend you and support you as well. There's no cap on this, you know. If someone else does it, hey, we're with you. We're going to promote and we'll collaborate. So let's introduce our next author because we're like 4 minutes out. Crown Shepherd is our next author on the platform. Let's talk about her background. She's a children's book author as well. Everybody today, so you'll know, are children's book authors. Okay, so keep that in mind. Let's see. Crown Shepherd is an emerging fiction book, picture book, and comic book writer. Her writing is a result of her surroundings and upbringing. She has always been deeply rooted in literature and writing, but it wasn't until she found more writers that looked like her that her writing soared. Those writers allowed her to dream and create her own standards, and from a point of view of a Black protagonist. As someone from an unrepresented community, Crown knows what it means to have representation feed your creativity. The stories she wants to share are aimed at giving a voice to the voiceless. Ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome Crown Shepherd. Let's give technology a few minutes.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am, I can hear you, but I can't see you.
Let's see.
Okay.
I don't know why it won't start. Give me 1 second.
Okay. Oh, it looked like she got disconnected, so we'll give her a few minutes to return back to the screen. In the meantime, let's see if we have any. Okay, she's coming back.
See me?
We can hear you, but I can't see you.
It was working earlier and I can't get it to work.
Don't you just love technology?
Yeah, hold on. It's saying go into settings.
A few minutes, let's figure it out real quick. While you're figuring it out, I'm gonna read a question or a comment from one of our listeners, watchers. Kathy's asked, we need a grandparent list for books for boys ages 12 to 15. Kathy, we're on it. We'll get you one. We'll put it up, okay? And matter of fact, why don't you email us at Jenny's, JANEICE at Detroit Book City and .com, and we will get you a list. Let me see if I can put it on there while Crown is trying to get herself on camera. So here's the email, JANEI at Detroit Book City. Let's send this to all panelists. This is the.
I just can't get it to go. It won't do it.
It's so strange. Let me figure out something. Listen, I'm gonna ask you to start your video. I'm gonna send you that request.
Okay.
Did you get the request?
On here or on my email?
Good question. I'm just asking,
I got it here. Let me see. Start video. And it's still saying failure. I might have to, I don't want to start my whole computer over. I'm so upset.
Oh, okay. Well, let's just talk. We can't see your book. Let's talk about your book. First of all, tell us, we have to do it this way. Tell us about your book.
Well, I am the creator and writer of Black Boy. It is a simple mantra for little Black boys to see themselves represented in the future and how they see themselves represented in the future. So if you know the book, Brown Bear, What Do You See? I use the play off of that. And instead of Brown Bear, What Do You See? It's Black Boy, What Do You See? And it challenges little Black boys to look into the future and tell themselves what they see as their future selves. So each page depicts a little boy looking into the next page and he sees himself as his future self. So if you think of it as Black Boy, what do you see? And then it's, I see a president looking at me, or I see a doctor looking at me, or an astronaut looking at me. So it was something that I wanted to make for little Black boys so that they could be the heroes of the story. They could see themselves represented in the story. And they had a book that was solely for them and no one else.
Wonderful. I wish we can show the audience.
I wish so too.
A copy of the cover. It is so beautiful. But I don't have your cover on my share screen, so I can't show it.
And It won't even let me do it here. Like I tried to do a virtual background and it's just nothing is working.
Oh, this is so terrible. I know. That's okay. Just imagine, listeners, this book cover is amazing. I wish I could show it. We are going to show all of our panelists books and links to how to buy the books after the Juneteenth event ends. So unfortunately, we can't show you the cover, but it is a phenomenal cover that you would surely appreciate.
Yes, it is.
Black Boy, Black Boy. How did you come up with Black Boy, Black Boy? You know, who's the audience? Is this just for Black boys or for Black girls or for anybody that wants to learn about the Black boy?
It is for everybody. The inspiration behind the book was from my nephews. I have over 13 nephews.
Wow.
I have over 30 nieces and nephews, but I have about 13 to 15 that are under the age of 10 and are at a critical reading age. And I just noticed that they didn't like reading. I'm a big reader. I read all the time. And with me, we have to go to the bookstore. We have to buy a book. It is part of their adventure with their TT. And I just noticed that they weren't interested in books and anymore. And then I just kind of correlated that with the fact that there weren't books that we could find that had them in it, that had representation of them or the life that they lived or the things that they enjoyed as being Black boys. Right. So that's kind of where it started. I was thinking of something, and the whole Black boy mantra, what you see, I used to say, and I still say to my nephews, I always challenge them to look into their future. I always challenge them to be more than what society tries to tell them that they are. And so that's where it came from. One day I was just at a library and I was looking at Brown Bear, and it kind of just clicked. And I was like, I need to make this for my nephews. And it started out as something for them, but it grew into something for everybody, because I believe this book isn't for just Black kids or Black boys. It's for everybody. It's something to teach the whole world that little Black boys are just that, little boys who want a future, who dream of a future, just like you did when you were a little kid, who dream of being a president or being amongst the stars with the astronauts. Like, they are just little kids and they have the same dreams and aspirations as anybody. And that was the whole point behind this book, was for the world to understand that little Black boys that grow up into men, Black men, were little Black boys at one point, and they were just like any other little boy. They like to climb all over things. They dreamed of being presidents and astronauts and all that other stuff.
Wow, that's wonderful. So look, most of the people who are listening are either on their phone or their laptop. You have to go to crownthewriter.com. They can see your book from there. Am I right?
Correct. They can see my book. I have a book commercial that my nephews were featured in. They did. I have a music video that we did for our Kickstarter when we were trying to get funding for the book. So there's behind the scenes things about Black Boy, the making of Black Boy, and you can also purchase it from crownthewriter.com. You can find it on barnesandnoble.com, target.com, amazon.com. But if you want a specialty signed book from me, you want to go to crownthewriter.com.
Awesome. Now tell us, how many pages is the book?
The pages is 32 pages.
32 pages. Is a paperback?
It is a hardcover.
It's a hardcover. Okay. Oh, I love hardcover kid books. And what age range is this book for? If it's for children?
Definitely infancy. And I would say up to 10 or 12. The is very more young reader. But I find that the older preteen little boys tend to like it also. They it speaks to them. They like to see themselves when they turn the pages and they see somebody that looks like them. So I would say up to 12. I've had 12-year-olds tell me that they love the book and, you know, they wish they had it when they were younger. So, and my name is Crown Shepherd.
Yep, her name is Crown Shepherd. So we have a couple comments on the chat that says, this book sounds like an incredibly important, beautiful book. Is that the one for you? Let's see. Yeah, can't wait to buy it for my son. I Googled the cover. It is amazing. You can also add it to your Google Reads, want to read list. I found it on there as well. Great, great, great. Somebody's loving your book. Then we have another comment. I don't know who that's to. The enemy busy. You ain't thinking about his mess. Oh, maybe I missed something in your message. Not sure. Obed, he's one of the authors that appeared on here earlier. He said, "You're on spot. If you see it, you can be it." Love it. So let's see. What is the author's name again? She wants to know your name again. It's Crown Shepherd. It's right there on the screen, actually, because we can't see her picture.
No.
It's her writing name, her publishing name. One more comment. I really like the concept of the book and will definitely purchase the book for my 4-year-old son. Isn't that wonderful? It is such a wonderful book. So is this your only book? Are you coming out with more? Is it going to be a series? Tell us what the future holds for you.
Black Boy is my only book at the moment. I definitely have to come out with a Black Girl. That's hoping to drop sometime in 2021 or 2022. I wanted to give Black Boy its time to shine. I'm in the process of doing my comic book at the moment entitled Crown. It is a comic book about a Black girl superhero whose superpower is her hair. So
talking about hair again. Wonderful.
Any hairstyle you can think of Black hair can make is a superpower or a weapon. So that should be dropping hopefully at the end of this year, around November or December are my plans for that. And then I also am planning on expanding on the Black Boy, Black Girl books and taking each page, each occupation that we feature in there and turning that into its own how-to book. Featuring characters.
So wonderful. Amazing, 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 amazing. I love this book. I'm sitting here flipping through it right now. You know, the next time we do our Zoom, I'm going to figure out how we can show some PowerPoint presentations. We're going to be a little bit more savvy. I'm going to open it up for you and show it, you know, just in case we have, you know, little situations like this. But at least we provided our listeners with the website so they can go to it and kind of look at what you're doing and the impact you're having on African-American boys.
Yes.
You know, this book is so freaking inspiring. It is. The graphics is on point. It's colorful. It's vibrant. It's energetic. It's just a wonderful book, and I feel like it should be in every Black household for sure if you have a son. Seriously.
And the illustrations were done by a Black man. That was key to me. That I felt that nobody could represent a Black boy better than a Black man.
Very, very creative, Crown. I'm so proud of you as a Black writer in this day, time, and era. I mean, this is a beautiful book, you know. And you did mention that you did do a GoFundMe to get it started. Did I hear that?
I did a Kickstarter, which is kind of like a GoFundMe, but for creators. Yes, I did do a Kickstarter. We did it last July. We ran a Kickstarter for $5,000 and we were fully successfully funded. So that was great. A very nerve-wracking month of my life, but it was a great experience. And it really pushed the point that this book was needed, you know, the people that reached out to me during that campaign and stuff like that. So, you know, it was successful and it was great.
Yes. I tell you what, if I would have thought it on Kickstarter, I definitely would have contributed to this. This is a beautiful book. Congratulations.
Thank you.
So let the audience know again how they can get your book. Give us the website again, please.
You can purchase Black Boy, or find out anything going on with Crown Shepherd at crowntherwriter, all one word, .com. That was crowntherwriter.com. And any type of social media, platforms, you can find me under Crown the Writer or Crown Shepherd.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much for participating in Detroit Book City's Juneteenth virtual book fair. I didn't get to ask you earlier on, but I'm going to ask you real quick before we let you back out to the universe. What is your spin on Juneteenth? What does Juneteenth mean to you?
Juneteenth means Blackness to me. It means being proud of being Black, of being proud of being free. And more than anything, it means the struggle of my ancestors. It reminds me that they fought, they struggled, they sacrificed, they went through hell so that I could have some semblance of peace, you know. And they taught me that this fight it started generations before me and it will end generations after me. That's what Juneteenth tells me, is that the fight is still here. Like the fight is still here. We fight every day, and this is a day that we get to celebrate the fighters that came before us and the fighters that will that will come after we're gone.
Right. That's a good take on it. I appreciate you. Well, thank you so much for participating in our platform to let the audience know about your wonderful book. Unfortunately, we can't see your face, but we'll catch you next time. And we need to also tell you that we're going to ask you to participate in our marketplace that we're going to hopefully upload so that African Americans can sell their books to the world, and you can process it and you can ship it. You know, one of those kind of formats we're working on. So we'll definitely provide that information to you because this book needs to be out on the market. It needs to be in every household. It does. It needs to be in every Black household. It's a great book. Well, congratulations. Is this your debut book?
It is my debut book. Yep. We came out May 12th, so we're a little shy over a month.
Awesome. Congratulations. Let's see if we got one more comment before we leave because we're like running 5 minutes behind. Somebody said this comic sounds awesome. And Obed said, love her. She is on spot. So that's our final words to you.
Thank you. I love you all too.
But you have a very, very prosperous Juneteenth weekend, and we'll talk to you very soon.
Thank you. Have a good day, everyone.
Oh, that was inspiring and motivational and empowering. This is such an empowering weekend. This is an empowering weekend for me personally as an indie bookstore owner. I am just appalled by, I'm just excited and elated and ecstatic about all these books that are surfacing and coming to the forefront, and people finally finishing their dream, you know, and publishing being a little bit more affordable now. So you can publish your book, you know, it doesn't cost a lot to publish your book, peeps. If you're interested in writing a book, you know, inbox us, Janice at Detroit Book City, and I can connect you with a couple of publishers in the area. So let your story be told. Stories matter for sure. Let's move along. Who's our next author? Latanya. Oh, let's see, Latanya Steele. Let me introduce you to Latanya Steele. She has spent 20 years of her career teaching high school and adult learners business courses in the community college system. She is a strong believer that education is important for all ages. She has a passion for giving back to others and helping them succeed in reaching their academic, professional, and personal goals. Latanya has a PhD in management and is a lifelong learner. Since the birth of her first granddaughter, Latanya has recently developed a new interest in writing educational books for children. She started writing books for her granddaughter and wanted to share them with other children, families, and caregivers. Latanya decided to make an educational book series, Learning with Harmony, for children from birth to 5 years old. The main characters in the book are her granddaughter, Harmony, and dog, Penny. Ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome Latanya Steele to the platform. Hi, Latanya.
Hello, how's everyone?
Great. Happy Juneteenth.
Thank you. Same to you.
I can see you. You're looking like you're glowing inside this magical world with the books around you.
Wonderful.
Oh, look at the book covers. They are so wonderful. This is Learning with Harmony, right?
Yes.
Oh, wow. So what? Before we get into Learning with Harmony, let's move into Juneteenth real quick. What does Juneteenth mean to you? Because we're celebrating.
Yes, it's a great celebration. And Juneteenth to me means freedom. The freedom to be educated and the freedom to educate others. To me, education is power. Knowledge is power, and education starts at home. As this celebration is taking place, we need to focus on our past, the present, and the future as it comes to education. As far as the past is concerned, we need to educate ourselves and our children with African American history, and also with family history, which is very important. We need to be purposeful in our present. And what I mean by that is, what are we doing to live our life with a purpose, to give back to others or to help others? And how can we do that through education? And as far as the future is concerned, you know, the children are our future, and we need to be concerned about our future in regards to
what are we doing to make the world a better place for our children and our children's children and others?
We have to be awake with that.
Yes, and we need to be the change. Yes, yes. And so that led me to educate children with the Learning with Harmony book series.
Awesome. I'm sitting here looking at your website, and it's just phenomenal. I love the colors. It's vibrant. It's moving. And you have been publishing for how long? I might have mentioned that, but I'm a little drained now. I've been on here since 12 o'clock.
I understand. Our first book, Who Wants to Learn with Me, was published in 2018. 2018. And that book was kind of like an introduction to the book series. It teaches our audience what is coming up actually in the book series. So Harmony is telling them how she's going to learn about color. She's going to learn about shapes. She's going to learn about animals. She's going to learn the alphabet and things of that nature. And then the next book, Learning Numbers and Colors with Harmony and Learning the Alphabet with Harmony were both published in 2018. I'm sorry, in 2019. And then Learning About Animals with Harmony was just published this year, 2020.
So you're moving and shaking.
Yeah, I'm a lot faster than what I thought I would. But that's only because our audience is requesting these books quicker than I can actually get them out. They said that their little ones are wondering when the next book is coming.
A wonderful impact on the people who are reading your book. It's a demand.
Yes, it is. So I'm trying to keep up with the demand the best that I can. I wish I can actually illustrate my own books because then I can get them out a whole lot quicker.
Look at the illustration though. I am so impressed. I like the diversity right there with learning the alphabet with Harmony. I love the animals, and you got the alphabet and the numbers, and it's all by an African-American author.
Yes.
I'm impressed.
Thank you so much. And yes.
So how many pages are what's the number of pages for each issue, and what age range is the most appropriate to read it?
Okay, our books typically run about 32 pages, and we have the bright, vibrant images, the illustrations on one page, and then we have large beginner words on the other page. And our books are typically for children 0 to 5 years old, because we truly believe that you can educate babies and read to babies and let them hear your voices, let them sit in your arms, hug them, snuggle them while you're reading to them. So they may not understand the words, but they know voices, and we want them to hear voices and sounds to, help them with their development as they grow older. And then that touch, when someone's on your lap, just makes a difference, And we can do that through books.
Absolutely. Your books are wonderful. I'm just sitting here looking at the illustrations. These books are just, I wish they were around when I was little. You would see a book like that every once in a while with the African-American character on it in a positive light with a nice look, pretty.
Yes, and it made me think about Dora when I was writing the book and how Dora character kind of took off. And I was like, you know what? We need a character like that. So how about Harmony could be the next Dora? She can represent little girls who look like her. But I didn't just want to focus on girls. So that's why I have images of little boys on the covers, because I want them to know that they can benefit from these books also. And we definitely have diverse characters throughout our books, so that someone could see a little one or a parent or a grandparent or a family member that looks like them throughout our books.
Right. Well, so what's the future Learning with Harmony? What you doing in the future? What's your future plans?
It would be wonderful if we can have a cartoon character. If you go to our website, www.learningwithharmony.com, you will see that we have a page set up with book trailers. So I'm kind of sampling around with that right now, where I have a gentleman who actually animates our characters throughout our book. Harmony is is a representative of my granddaughter. And so my granddaughter is learning the Harmony jingle We actually have a jingle now. And
Oh,
my granddaughter is 3. So once her words are clearer, I would like for the Harmony character to actually mouth and look as though she's singing the jingle. So it would be nice to eventually have a cartoon character in a, you know, a TV show that parents, grandparents, uncles, aunts, cousins, neighbors can tune into and learn with Harmony.
oh, I am impressed with your brand. Congratulations. Great job.
Thank you.
Somebody asked us what your website was again. So I put it up. Learningwithharmony.com is her website. And your books are priced at what? What's the price on it?
Well, our regular price are $10 for our paperbacks,
Okay.
$20 for our hardcovers, and then we have the ebooks for $2.99, and we're also on Kindle Unlimited, which is actually free if you have that subscription. But we believe in, again, our present and our future in helping others, and our books are half price, not only for Juneteenth, but through the summer. So they're $5 for the paperbacks and $10 for the hardcovers, which is really a good deal. And they're really nice quality books.
And Detroit Book City will be buying some too. So we'll touch base with you on Monday to put them on our website as well. They're awesome.
Wonderful. Thank you so much.
Before we let you go, we have one comment on here. Our children are going, Melva said, our children are going to be all dressed up with these wonderful books.
Yes, yes, they will be. And not only are our books educational, our books are fun. Our books provoke critical thinking skills. It helps children use their imagination. We tell them a story about what Harmony and Penny are learning, but we also ask them a question after to see if they're comprehending and see how they're using their imagination. And we can ask any questions outside of what's written in the book. We kind of let it be a starter. So the books are interactive books.
Gotcha. Well, they are wonderful. I'm very proud of you and what you're doing. And, you know, I didn't know anything about you before this virtual book fair. So see how collaboration and getting together, you know, builds up momentum and it builds up your pockets and it spread the word and the love to the world. This is that's phenomenal. I love your whole brand. Let's see, one person said, let's see, what's the queen on hold? Hi, Claire, we'll be with you. One person, let's see, would love that. So tired of SpongeBob and the like. So she's happy about your new character. She said she's sick of SpongeBob.
Thank you.
Marva, who said Harmony and Penny seem like a magnificent duo.
Oh, and they are. They're a lot of fun for the kids. And you know, kids always love animals also. So you can't go wrong with a dog.
I encourage all viewers to please get on her website, which is learningwithharmony.com, and purchase those awesome books. And right now they're 50% off. Is that here?
Yes, they are.
Off, guys. So don't miss out on this opportunity. You got all 4 of them for $20. That's a good deal.
Yes, yes, it is.
On that level are like $17 a piece, a hard copy. That's a good deal. Well, thank you so much for participating in Detroit Book City's Juneteenth virtual book fair. And I hope that you have a wonderful weekend.
Thank you so much for the invite and for this platform. You're doing great things. You all have a great weekend and take care.
Okay, we'll talk next week, okay?
Yes, thank you. Bye-bye.
All right, my goodness, you guys have to admit, you are connecting with some great books that you did not know exist. Let's admit it. You are connecting with some great books that you did not know exist. So, you know, take advantage of these opportunities and these special offerings that they're offering for Juneteenth weekend. Go to their websites, JaquanHawkins.com and learningwithharmony.com and get these phenomenal African-American books. And if you are Caucasian watching our show today, please grab these books. You know, it teaches your kids that, you know, African-American kids are not bad kids. You know, they learn well, they have the same dreams, aspiration, goals as any other culture out here. And it'll be a good blend and it'll make them more diverse when they run into an African-American. You know, there's a lot of backlash going on right now. There's a lot of devastating things going on right now in our community. So if you can educate your kids at this time, it will be a good thing to do. That's what I would say. It would be a great thing to do. Okay, we got Laretha. Let's go to Laretha. Our next author is, and we have 2 more authors for today. I hope you guys are enjoying virtual book fair. This is the only way we can have this fair right now because of COVID-19. Usually we would set up in a physical location, and we would have between 50 and 80 authors in one day selling their books. We usually have a free cover charge at the door, and we serve food. We have a live DJ, which is my husband, DJ Holly. I'm so tired. I've been here since 12. DJ Holly is our DJ, so we have live music playing in the background. It's like a big celebration, celebrating Black authors, and we attract between 500 to 2,000 people in that one day. They usually last between 12 and 5. And these authors actually autograph and greet the attendees, these book lovers, and the energy is so positive, and it's just a happy space. Okay, and we usually host those African American in February. We do the Fall Family Book Fair in October, and in December we hold the Children's Book Fair. These are authors with only children books, and then of course Juneteenth. So a little bit about Detroit Book City. Let's move on to our next author. 1 second. I appreciate you as I adjust to the Zoom format. Okay, let's get into it. I want to read the background of our next author to you very quick before we bring her on. I got it today, so let's open it up real quick. Thank you for your patience. This is a very informal show, even though we blasted it out there like it's some big deal. This is a very informal show where we are wanting to connect you to Black authors. So we appreciate your patience as we adjust to the virtual world. She did send me something today. I have to look it up real quick. One moment. Oh, I'm going to bring Laretha on. We're going to let Laretha talk and tell you about who she is. Laretha, hi, how are you?
Good, how are you?
I was looking for your bio. I know you sent it to me today, but I've been sitting here since 12, sweating and doing these interviews, and I can't find it. So
It's
I
okay.
thought I would just bring your lovely presence to our platform, and then you can tell us a little bit about who Laretha Ward is. Enlighten us.
Hi there. I thank you for this opportunity. Thank you so much for having this platform, Janice. I really appreciate it and all that you do with Detroit Book City. I'm always glad to be a part of it. So a little bit about myself. I'm Laretha Ward, and I'm an author. I'm a mom of 2 adult sons, a wife, and I started out with writing way back when I was a youngster, and I started out writing poetry. And so fast forward, I began to start doing prose and poetry for adults. And then I wrote the book, Resting on His Promises. I am covered from A to Z. And while doing the A to Zs, and I ended that book, what came to me was a thought of how I was helping to empower adults. Why not do the same thing for children? And so that's how the book that I currently have out was birthed for my ABCs Build Confidence. And that's for our children.
Wonderful, wonderful. So let us see a copy of that book you just
Sure. This is my ABCs Builds Confidence, Always Be Courageous. And I also have a matching coloring book that's a companion to the hard copy.
Okay, so put it up again real quick so we can see.
Sure.
Book by ABC's Build Confidence, Always Be Courageous coloring book, and the matching actual physical book that you read. That's wonderful. I just found your bio.
Okay.
I'm going to stop for a second, just read it to everybody so we can move on with the interview, okay?
Okay.
She's a wife, mother of 2 sons, best-selling author, and an empowerment strategist. She has experience as a 31-year licensed speech therapist. Interesting. Laretha is also the founder and CEO of Mind Shape Up, LLC, where she empowers, equips, and educates women via online coaching, ebooks, audiobooks, workbooks, educational resources, and video training. As one who understands firsthand that every battle is first won in the mind, her mantra is keep moving forward.
That's it.
Keep it moving.
That's it. No matter what comes, you got to keep it moving. You can't sit still. You can't shut it down. You got to get back up, dust yourself off, and keep it moving.
Well, let's talk again about that fabulous book you just showed us with the coloring book.
Sure.
Write that.
So what inspired me, and I wrote it, was because, as I said, my background was to take and do something for our kiddos. And then, you know, when I was researching, I saw that there weren't many books for people of color, not for our children to look up and to identify with. And so, in fact, the statistics, it was startling to see only about 10%. And so I'm thinking we need to see more of us in these books. And so as a result, I was making sure that my content would be where I would have diverse characters in the book. So African-American, Latino, Asian. And so I think every child needs to be able to pick up a book that would help to empower them. And so that's how this book came along. And so my book, My ABCs Build Confidence, is to give children hope, encouragement, to see themselves the way God sees them, that they are King's kids. So I do have it where I put a crown in here for children to recognize themselves as royalty, because that's something that we are not taught. It's something that we don't get much of in the way of our children when they're quite young. And so to instill in them as a young child that they are fearfully and wonderfully made, that they are royalty, that they have the confidence and the boldness to believe that they can do anything and can become anything. And so my book is an alphabet book. It's the letters A through Z. And I do have in the book, if I could read a little short snippet for what I have for the parents, because I do challenge the parents to read the book with their children, especially the younger ones that can't read, because it is a book in which they're able to affirm themselves. And I say before they even, as they get up in the morning, before they even go out the door, this can be a part of their ABCs to affirm themselves and to see themselves as King's kids. And so I have here, how our children view themselves begins with their self-talk. I know I'm not alone when I say if I could rewind my childhood, I would undo all the negative things that I thought and said about myself. I think every child goes through that period of feeling like they don't measure up, they don't fit in, and no one likes them. So how do we flip the script? Having a biblical self-confidence is really confidence in God's word and identifying with his character and taking on his image. And so it's never too late to declare with your children what God says over them and what your child says about themselves, because their words can shape their world. So as you look in the mirror first thing in the morning, say aloud your ABCs, and ABC stands for always be courageous. And so I have the children in the book in their like a dreamlike state in which they have the alphabets A through Z, or every occupation that you can imagine. And so I want our children to see that they can become anything in life that they desire. And so they are in their dream state. And so as they grow up, so it's a smaller version of them at the bottom of the page, and then it's an adult version of them at the top, and all of them at the top.
Let us see it. No, open up. Yes, let's see
so I'm going to open it up for the first one. Okay. So this is a Black young lady seeing herself as an astronaut. Wonderful. And she has the crown on as an adult. So she's in a dream state at the bottom. And I did that for every occupation where they're able to see themselves as royalty. I can become an astronaut. I can be a judge. Things in which our kids sometimes don't even think about aspiring to be, but they can do it. You can become anything you put your mind to. Wow. And so I want to inspire our children to do that.
Well, Tiffany Nordy said, this is awesome. She loves your book.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Oh my God, look at the illustrations in there. You know, you set up at our Children's Holiday Book Fair in December.
Yes.
And we're at our Fall Family Book Fair in October.
Yes.
And I never had a chance to come over and look inside that book. Show us another page. Give us another example, because you're selling your book today. We want to see the substance. That book is awesome.
I have another one. Let's see here. This is a young man who I'm saying he's at the bottom and he's painting. He's as a little boy, he's painting, but he's grown up to be a graphic designer.
Oh my.
And so I have that he can become a graphic designer, and then I also have the scriptures at the bottom in the letters A through Z. So it's dual. It's for kids to see themselves in whatever occupation, but at the same time, they're empowering themselves with the word of God, A through Z. And this is something that will go out and prosper in their lives and will not return void. So I want our children to know they can do anything that they put their hearts and minds to.
Well, that is a beautiful, beautiful book. And didn't you tell me at one of our events you sold out?
Yes, I did. I sold out. We had to go to the car and get more books and sold out.
I can see
Yeah.
why. So
And I thank God, because it's not only the targeted age is for 6 to 8 year olds, but I had parents that were coming by that said, you know what, I want to start out. Even I had some with had infants in their hands, and they said, oh, this is something I can begin depositing these seeds now, and this can grow into them.
Absolutely beautiful book. I never had a chance to look inside that book. No wonder you sold out. That's a wonderful book. We have a comment from someone saying, what is your adult book called? You have an adult book?
Yes, I do. My adult book came from this.
Okay, let's say, and then I'm going to get to that one. Amazing, amazing. Yes,
thank you.
Seeds. That's from Obed.
Thank you.
Okay, let's tell us about the adult book. Thanks for bringing it out, Kathy.
So my adult book, let me see, I have a copy right down here.
Okay, sounds good.
My adult book that this was born from is Resting on His Promises. I'm covered from A to Z. And I need to do a part 2 series because people have been asking me, but for me to give them some more of this. So I have that on the back burner to complete another book, kind of like a part 2. But this shares my kind of like my memoir. And so I'm sharing from experience to help to empower individuals with some strategies, some tips, some tools, and resources throughout this book on just how to, again, keep it moving. When you have hardships in life, you got to get back up. And so I share from some pain, some hardships, some adversities, and how to be an overcomer. So this is Resting on His Promises. I am covered from A to Z.
Now tell them your website, how they wait, and the price on the children books is what?
And the price, can I bring it up and do a screen share? Because I have it.
Yes, open it up. Marva says she will get this book for her 16-year-old daughter who will graduate next year.
All right. And so here we go. This is it's available now, and you can purchase it on barnesandnobles.com. You can either go to mascots.com, which is who did the book. They published the book, Mascot Books did, and I got an illustrator through mascotbooks.com. It's also on amazon.com, or at the top, you can go to my website at larethawardcreative.com, and you would click on the About tab and see a drop-down link that says King's Kid. Click on that and you can order the book. The hard copy is $14.95 and the coloring book is $9.95, but I do have it as a bundle where you can get both the hard copy and the coloring book for $17. And
wonderful. Wonderful, wonderfully made. It's a spiritually, wonderfully, and purposely made, that book.
Yes, that's how we see our kids. They're precious, they're King's kids. And so we have to view them as royalty. And I really want them to get that at a young age. You are royalty. You're royalty.
Okay, so you can click out of it using, I think, at the top or something.
Okay. All right.
Oh my God, this is so wonderful. You have been at all our book fairs and I never had a chance to look at that book. I hate to keep emphasizing that, but I had never had a chance to look at that book.
Well, you know what, you're on the goal once we get in the door. I think you hit the ground running, trying to make sure that everything is put up and set up for us. So, and you do a wonderful job of doing that as well. So I am always so thrilled to be a part of any time you have anything going on for Detroit Book City.
Thank you, Loretha. And I was sharing with some other authors that we're going to create a marketplace now that we're virtual. We're going to do an online marketplace where they can go directly to the marketplace, or they can come on our website and into a marketplace portal and buy books from African Americans, and you guys will get the orders and you'll process them.
Wow, that's wonderful. I look forward to that.
Yeah, and it'll be a very low fee, either per book or per month, but you know, our fees are always very reasonable. So
Sure. I look forward to being a part of that.
Hey, I wouldn't have it without you.
Thank you. Thank you so
for
much.
joining us for Juneteenth. I hope you are enjoying your weekend, and please continue to have a good time.
Yes, I am, and thank you. And likewise, you do the same, Janice. Thank you so much.
Tell your mother I said hello.
I sure will. I sure will.
Have a good one.
All right. Bye-bye.
All right, guys, that was Laretha Ward. Oh, dynamic author. So do you see why we do this? Do you see why we put this platform on? Because there are some dynamic people who are writing dynamic books and nobody know about them. We have to create these platforms to educate, inform, and entertain the world that we are writers. We are creative beings. Juneteenth is a time where we need to expose what African Americans are doing. We need to expose the impact that our ancestors have created. These vehicles and these pathways for us to be a resilient people. So I'm very proud of the Black authors. I'm very proud that they are telling their stories, and I'm gonna keep saying it, stories matter, and they come from the soul. It's an inner voice that tells us what to write. And when you follow that, you can change a whole lot of people's lives, even the children at age 0, infants. You start reading to them early, by 3 or 4, they'll be reading that same book to you. You'll be surprised. So this is a phenomenal day. This is a phenomenal weekend. And this is a phenomenal way to celebrate Juneteenth. Our last and final author of the evening or the afternoon, before you guys go out and enjoy this time. And I'm so glad that you are here and you hung in there with us to watch this platform. And who knows, we may bring it back once a month just to acclimate and get you guys connected to what African-American writers are writing in the community. I think it's important. But of course, you can always visit our website, DetroitBookCity.com, and hit on authors at the top, author directory, author DIR, and you'll see a list of African-American authors. And some of them have links because they paid to have links. And then if you look at our author profile, which is called the Black Author Spotlight, you will see the author with their picture and a link to their book and their bio, and you can also buy their books from wherever source that they're selling them on. Of course, we're coming out with a marketplace real soon, so they all will be in one place for you, okay? That's coming real soon. So our final author of the evening is Quinn Woodard. I am so proud to have him on the platform today. I don't have a bio on Quinn, so we're just going to bring him in. He's our last guest author. So ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome Quinn. And Quinn is going to introduce himself and how he's contributing to the children's book world. Hi, Quinn.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. Good to see you again.
Good to see you too.
I love your background.
Thank you.
Hi, read books. I like that.
Yeah.
Wow, very creative. So I don't have your bio here. So just tell us, first of all, let's talk about Juneteenth. Are you enjoying the weekend so far? Tell us what Juneteenth means to you.
Definitely. I've had the opportunity to spend it with my family. So when I think about, what Juneteenth means to me, it's really a day of reflection, right? Not necessarily to just, focus on the milestone or achievement of freedom, but you also can't forget the journey, right? The journey is very important. When we think about it, you think of struggle, you think of pain, you think of trauma, all things that slaves, our ancestors, had to overcome to get to that certain point. And we say point, I don't want to just say that that's the end, because there's still a lot of work for us to do going forward. And that's evident in today's climate. So, we look back, we reflect, and we carry that forward with us because it's inside of our spirit, and it's opportunity for us to do more as a people.
Well stated. Well stated. So, like me, your book, let's jump in because we're like a little bit behind, but we're going to spend as much time as we need because we're
definitely no, it's okay. I appreciate it. So.
The last guy, because I'm so impressed with your book. Now, what you like with us at the African Americans in February, and you were like sitting right next to our registration table. We had you in the lobby. You did pretty well that day, didn't you?
Definitely. I appreciated the support from the city of Detroit. Especially being a St. Louis guy, we've all had our battles, but that day I felt at home. You brought me into your family that day, and it was awesome, and I appreciated it.
Awesome. So did you do book-wise, book sales?
Oh, definitely. And I think the biggest part was the connections and the networking, right? So many opportunities came from that, not necessarily just the physical sales of the book, but the relationships that were built, just very much like this event that you're hosting today. It's bringing authors together, it's bringing new eyes to, you know, what you're doing, and it's going to help us go forward.
Awesome. Let me see if I can connect to your website real quick. I know I can do that. Well, tell us about your book, Like Me. Where did you come up with the concept? Who is it? And where can people get it?
Yeah, definitely. So I'll start from the beginning. So, you know, my day job, I'm an engineer. Currently, I'm out of the engineering function, but my degree is in electrical engineering.
Okay.
And I work for an energy company. In my spare time, I like to mentor students. And at this particular moment in time, I think it was 2015, I was given a talk at a nonprofit conference focused on STEM education, science, technology, engineering, and math. It was at that conference where I had the opportunity to, you know, give my remarks. I walked off stage, and it's all focused on STEM. And I didn't really see myself in the audience. I didn't see a lot of individuals that look like me. And so, you know, it was a great conference, and I just thought to myself, we have to do more. There has to be more representation. And so that's where the idea for Like Me came about. And so I started, you know, doing some notes back in 2015. And then it wasn't published until 2020. So that shows, you know, it sat on the shelf for a while for me, but I'm happy that I finally got to that point of publishing and releasing it.
So you created Zoe. Look at Zoe. She's so cute.
Yeah, so created the character, yes, but it's actually based off my niece. So I have a niece.
Oh, you need.
Yeah, she's 8 years old. Her name is Zoe as well. And so when I think about my interest into the STEM world or engineering, that came for me in high school. And as I mentioned, that's too late, right? Because, you know, when you want to get into the sciences, technology, engineering, and math, there's a certain level of skills that you need to possess. Now, it's not the end all for some, but the earlier the better. And so I thought to myself, how can I introduce her to these concepts, to these technical terms, to what it means to be a scientist, a doctor, an engineer going forward. And so she's the character that I created the book and based it off of her.
Awesome. So tell us about the book. What is she doing there? Is it like a storyline? And do you have a copy of it?
I do. I have a copy.
You want to show us a clip, or what do you want to do? How do you want to?
So I'll just hold it up if you can see it. It may be a little difficult, but
it's got the background. So
yeah. So it's a picture book, right? And so I recommend ages 3 to 8, but anyone can really learn from it. And so Zoe, you know, as we recall, you know, growing up in elementary schools, we all had the career day, right? And everybody was so excited for career day. And so the teacher is asking the students, hey, get prepared for career day. And Zoe's friends are excited, and Zoe is struggling. And her friends say, hey, what's wrong? What's going on? And she says, you know, I don't know what I can be because no one looks like me. And she's particularly speaking to this space of STEM. And her friend comes to her and says, you know, there are a lot of people who have done great things in the STEM space, in particular, who look like you. What you need to realize is that you have, you know, great skills within inside of you. You have passion. You can carry those forward, and you can actually achieve your dreams of becoming one of these individuals. And so as you progress through the book, you see the doctor, you see the engineer, you see the physicist, you see the chemist, and it's a rhyming book. So it makes it easy for the children to understand the basic concepts and follow along.
And it's for age 3, so you can really start early. You can see the cute images, and it's in their likeness, and it's a very inspiring, empowering book. It is. And then STEM, that's a big deal these days. I mean, what's going to happen with our world with STEM? Is everything going to be, you know, the G5, and what's going on? I mean, why is it important for African Americans to secure a job in the STEM world?
Yeah, and so when you look at the percentage of African Americans, I guess, as a population, as a people, the numbers do not translate to the various industries, and that includes anything related to STEM. So there's a lot of opportunities to grow those numbers and ensure that there's representation across the board. When you talk about the future of STEM and where we're going, I think you can look at, you know, what the world has experienced with the current pandemic, right? And so we are implementing protocols associated with physical distancing and wearing of masks. And you see some companies being very progressive and moving to the point of, you know, utilizing robots or self-checkout, you know, so typical jobs that have been done by individuals earning of lower wages. And so you see those jobs being displaced. And so what does that mean for the people that are affected? And so there's an opportunity for for us to educate, introduce more of our individuals, more individuals that look like us into these various fields. And it doesn't necessarily have to translate to, engineering degree. There has to be, there's opportunities in the tech space, the repair space, because as we develop more of these systems, there are going to have to be individuals that actually work on it as well.
Right, I agree. Well, your book is phenomenal. How many pages is it?
It's about 38 pages, and so it's a full spread picture book. And so each page has an image of Zoe. And so you look at Zoe over my shoulder. This is the physicist scene, right? And so she's dressed in her physicist garb, and she has her little poster with the Einstein theory of relativity, E = mc squared. And so typically what you would see is her friend Liza asking her, hey, can you do X, Y, and Z? And she says, if you can do these things, this is what you can be. And so it always ends with, what's that? And so when I read to students, I say, everyone come with me and say, 1, 2, 3, what's that? And so then we turn the page, and then you see a little Zoe dressed as the character in which her friend described. And so, like I said, a picture to the left, and then the storyline just continues all the way through. At the end of the book, it actually has like a little hall of fame of pioneers that have come before. So Zoe can know, hey, these are people that have done this before. There are first in this field. And so, Dr. Mae Jemison is one that's referenced in the book. George Washington Carver is also recognized. And so it has a little bio there. And then the last page is actually a picture frame. In the picture frame, the children can cut out their picture, place it in there inside the book, and they can write, what profession they want to be when they grow up.
That's wonderful. This book is so well thought out. This is a wonderful book. And I've seen the book in person, guys, and it is such a beautifully illustrated book. And the storyline and the topic, everything is so on point and relevant. We got some comments from the audience here. Kathy asks, will you write a book for ages 12 to 15-year-old boys?
Yeah, so I haven't, let me step back. So I have it in the back of my mind, right? And so next steps for me are to expand the Like Me series, right? And so when we talked about those numbers of translating representation across various industries, it doesn't just stop with STEM. And so the next series is going to be Like Me leaders, and then the next one will be Like Me artists. And so highlighting those underrepresented communities within those spaces. I have started working on a young adults novel, not really tied to STEM, but more of, I guess, like a passion project, lightly focused on my life growing up. But yeah, I will say, I will not say no to writing more STEM books. So,
okay, gotcha.
I'll keep
another comment. Let's see. This is from Obed. He's one of the authors that was on earlier. Single digit representation in the science profession. So thank you for helping us move the needle. Thank you. Okay.
Appreciate that, Ms. Obed.
And then Kathy has a comment. I have asked about STEM at my grandson's school. The look I get is, what is she asking for? That's not good.
Yeah. But so I encourage Kathy to keep asking, because eventually they will get the picture. This is where you get into those PTA meetings. This is where you become vocal on social media and start asking for those dollars to be directed towards those specific curriculums, and which can be beneficial to our kids.
There's your answer, Kathy. That's a good answer. And then we have another comment. Looks like it's a family member. Our family from Melba. Our family is so proud of Quinn. We love this book because it's a great book, and it reinforces the possibilities that children can soar towards. Zoe especially loves it. Who would have thought an engineer would write a children's book? Such a blessing. I agree, Melva. It's such a blessing. And I've seen this book in person. It was right next to me at one of our book fairs, our last book fair in February. So yeah, family can compliment too. So that's a great comment. And then Kathy said, thank you for that answer too. So, we're appreciative around here. We have an appreciative audience. Well, tell them how they can get your book. How do they get access to it?
Yeah, so the book is obviously available on Amazon, but what I've been doing is redirecting to other bookstores where they carry it. And so
we'd like to consider that Detroit Book City too. How much is the book? Let's tell the audience.
Right now, the sticker price, I believe, is $16. I offer wholesale pricing, and then I'm in the process of releasing a paperback, which will obviously be discounted from that. And then ebook is actually available now. But when it comes to ordering, if you go to my site, www.likemebook.com, you can go to shop and it'll point you to 3 links, I believe. And one is Read with Mocha Books. Mocha Books is located in Tulsa, Oklahoma, very much like Detroit Book City, specializing in books for African-American children. And then another bookstore, I See Me, which is a African-American bookstore located in St. Louis, Missouri. And then obviously you have your Amazon links where you can get the ebook and hard cover book as well.
And soon to be Detroit Book City, especially on our marketplace. So I kind of mentioned that earlier, that we're going to create a marketplace for African-American authors to sell, and we'll push it out to our audience and hopefully generate a lot of business where you can process the orders like Amazon. Well, Amazon processes orders now, but our whole format has changed. The bookstore to doing an online store. So you can imagine how many books I have around me, right? We're home office now. Oh, yeah. So we're doing very well online, though, very, very well. But I don't want the door to close on us connecting the public to Black authors. So we're going to create that marketplace where you guys can upload your book, pay a small little fee, and we kind of push it out there, along with our bookstores. So when they come, we have everything. We have everything you need. What are you looking for? Right?
Awesome.
So
looking forward to that.
Yeah, we'll get that information to you. Well, thank you so much for joining us for Juneteenth. We are so excited about this weekend. So far, I'm having a great time. It looked like I'm working by doing these book fairs, but actually it's a lot of fun. Just connecting people and connecting people to Black authors. It's a joy and it's a passion of mine to do this to be this role. To have this role in life. So I appreciate you as a Black writer.
Thank
Your
you.
book is phenomenal. What's the future? Before we let you back out to the universe, what's your future?
Yeah, so the next books that I mentioned, I think I'm going to dabble in the illustrator space. And so obviously it requires more time on my hands, but I've always been passionate about art. And so I think that's what I'm going to do for the next couple books and try to illustrate them myself. And hopefully I can be back here again next year talking about them with you.
No, we will. We're going to bring you back every time we have something. We're going to send that invite right to you, because every time you connect with us, you're going to meet different people. Our network is really, really growing. Detroit Big City is growing. This pandemic is an interesting thing, man. It got you kind of confused, because there's a halt put on your business for 1 minute. Then about a month or so afterwards, you get this overflowing amount of orders from all over the world. Opportunities just open up. We just have to pay attention to it, And that's when I decided, you know what? We're not going to stop connecting people to African American authors. We're going to do it virtually, and I'm going to learn Zoom real quick.
Yeah.
So hopefully next time we have our virtual book fair, maybe at the end of July, maybe August, I'm going to have this thing down pat. I'm going to Zoom, and you guys are going to say, wow, she's really improved. So I still believe in mastering things too. You can all life is a life learning journal, right?
Journal. With you. Yeah. Never stop learning.
Never stop learning. So thank you so much for appearing on our Juneteenth virtual book fair featuring African American authors 2020. We are so glad that you are a Black writer, and keep writing. And we'll be in touch very soon about that marketplace so we can continue to sell your book.
All right, sounds good. Thank you. Thank you for all you do.
Thank you, and have a good weekend.
Yeah.
Okay, folks, it looked like we just ended our Juneteenth virtual book fair 2020. I must tell you, I was very impressed with all the panelists we had today. This is our new way of doing the book fair. Then, hey, we're all for it. I kind of like it, You know why I like it? Because I don't have to shift tables and put table covers on and create all these signs, even though I'm a graphic designer by trade. But just the hassle of putting together a physical event can wear you out. I can't say we're never going to do a physical event again, but I'm just glad we had the platform and the opportunity to have an alternative way of connecting Black authors to Black readers. So this weekend, I'm going to continue to enjoy it. I hope you continue to enjoy it. And if you're not doing anything tomorrow, we have some more guest authors. We kick off at 2 o'clock to 5 o'clock. So tune in, tell your friends about us, our platform will feature spiritual writers, writers of spiritual self-help books. And I think we have some poetry, and we may have a couple more children authors, but the books are on the spiritual side or religious side. So tune in tomorrow between 2 and 5 if you'd like to register, so you can be on the side where you can do the QA and the poll and the chat. Go to our website, DetroitBookCity.com, and on the front there's links to the Sunday's event, which is tomorrow, and you can click on the link and you can register for tomorrow's event. So I am going to let you guys go. Thank you again for attending. Let me just make sure we don't have any questions down here before we leave. Melva said, this was so great. Thank you so much. I appreciate all the great writers, their books, and your hard work. Thank you, Melva, for tuning in. We all connect. This is a collaboration. So we thank you for tuning in and watching the authors as well. Then we have Marva said, I have truly enjoyed this platform since I'm located in Maryland. Okay, welcome to the D. We're representing Detroit well, aren't we? Thank you so much. Glenn Anderson said, thank you so much. This was great. Thank you, Glenn, for tuning in. And hopefully you can tune in a little bit tomorrow so you can learn about our spiritual writers, okay? Thanks a lot. Let's see, Catherine said, thank you very much. Love learning about new authors, and it was so impactful for my son to see Black authors discussing their books. Well, thank you, Catherine. We appreciate that. You know, we're glad to know that our platform is needed. Let's see, Obed Figueroa. He's the author that was on earlier with the doctor's book. He said, was this recorded? Absolutely it was. So we'll make sure you get connected to a link so you can watch it again. Let's see, any more comments? Marva Williams, thanks so much. Blessings to all who have participated. Yes, I agree. Blessings to all of the authors who have participated on this platform. We thank you so much, and we appreciate you as Black writers. Okay, it looks like that's it. Obed said, Yahoo. Okay, Yahoo. So guess what? We are out. Enjoy your evening and have a blessed day.